My boyfriend cheated on me with 8 different girls. I want to walk away.
You gotta play the field sometimes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding.
I've been with S, let's call him, for a total of 10 months. The first month or so was your typical butterfly in the stomach production. By the end of the first month, we were official and we're seeing each other 3 to 4 times a week.
Dang.
A month being official, I would never do that. Around the second month,
That's so slow.
That's so slow. By the end of the second month, he reactivated several of his old dating profiles on different websites, unbeknownst to me at the time. By the way, this comes from Confused with Cheater. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So for the next 6 months, I was busy falling in love. And he was busy dating girls behind my back.
Yikes.
He spoke with countless other people via the internet, took 8 girls out for drinks, and slept with 3 of them.
Yikes.
All the while, he was doing all of the typical couple stuff with me, breakfast with his grandma, hotel stays in the city, swimming with his family, wine tasting with his friends, helping me move apartments, on and on. So it sounds like he was the perfect boyfriend and perfect date.
Yes. He's doing a great job, except at the commitment part.
How does he have all this time?
The time management is insane.
Understand.
We talked about how much we were into each other, told each other we loved one another, joked about how cute our kids would be.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of kids.
Going to have a lot of kids. Around the 8-month mark, I started feeling extraordinarily weird about something, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I'd had this nagging feeling from the start, but I thought it was just my own insecurities, and I did my best to swallow them down and carry on. However, I had slowly started feeling like a burden, and as if he didn't even like me, let alone love me.
Ouch.
It was such a slow process that I never knew it even had happened until there I was, one day, suddenly accusing him of cheating on me with his best girlfriend. Whew.
Were you right?
Were you right? I mean, I don't know if she was right. I think.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't cheat on you with her.
I felt like absolute crap, but I had to figure out what was going on or if I was just slowly going insane. He denied it, and I found it difficult to believe him, even though I had 0 proof of anything. Just that feminine intuition, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you
you just know when your partner is cheating on you with 8 different people.
Sometimes you just know. Sometimes you just know. A couple of weeks after that argument, I looked at his phone. Wrong, I know.
It's true.
It's true. It's wrong. It's wrong. Shouldn't do that. What's our rule, Sophia?
The rule is if you're gonna look at the phone, the relationship's already over.
Yeah, and if you can look at the phone, if there's probable cause, but this sounds like there wasn't probable cause.
Yeah.
Except,
but I mean, the relationship is already over.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I saw that he was talking to another girl, and I confronted him about it. He told me that he wasn't cheating, but if things were going badly with us, he would.
Whoa.
Well, that made absolutely no sense. So I broke up with him.
Nice.
Boom. Standards. That's what we like to see.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. Boom. Dropped. During our breakup talk, he admitted to sleeping with someone else.
Yikes.
We didn't speak again until after about 6 weeks. I'd been on a Netflix binge and mistakenly watched a movie where this guy cheats on his girlfriend. They break up and then they have a heart-to-heart about why it happened. And by the end of the movie, they are back together.
I hate those movies.
I totally lost it at that point. I'd been having such a hard time with no contact, wasn't eating, etc., that I was more or less out of my rational mind and went as far as looking up his number on an old phone bill online.
Girl, not the old phone bill.
No, stay off the phone bill. We ended up meeting at a restaurant near my place. And spent 6 hours discussing what happened and why she's living out her own rom-com.
You literally doing the movie plot.
But it was so romantic in the movie.
Well, it worked for them.
He's changed. I was trickle-truthed about the entire cheating thing for about 2 weeks after that. And then the number grew steadily from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 girls.
Fool me once.
Shame on you.
Fool me 8 times.
Shame
on me.
Shame on me.
Shame on
7
me.
of those times. Yeah. By the time I had what I believe now to be the full scope of his cheating. I was already emotionally invested again.
What?
She's back in.
She was like, well, now that I know he's cheated on me with 8 girls, now we can move on.
Yeah, he's got it out of his system. You
Girl.
know? He can commit to me. He needed to, like, you know, zoom out so he could zoom back in.
Exactly.
On the person
Macro
he
to
loves.
micro.
Macro to micro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tale as old as time.
Oh, man.
As of today, it's been a little over a month since meeting up with him again at the restaurant. We see each other 3 to 4 times per week. We sleep together.
I don't like you.
And have been continuing the original conversation about the cheating and why he did it. I'm convinced it wasn't an issue of temptation, but more that he was actively seeking an escape from a life he was unhappy in. And in his words, I was a casualty. Now, I'm watching him take a more direct approach to his problems. I'm so proud of him.
What is this?
On top of that, I have never had such excellent communication with any prior partner or such bad communication as it was before.
What is going on?
If I ask, I am allowed to his phone, Facebook, and email. Okay, so he's being more open. If I'm feeling insecure, we can talk about it. The problem is, I'm ridiculously insecure now.
I wonder why.
No, I totally can't see you're insecure. Some days, I wake up and know I should walk away from this whole thing. Good. I feel rotten inside and like I'm becoming someone I don't want to be. I
Then
feel controlling.
stop.
For example, there's this girl who we hooked up with 3 years ago and they kept in touch as friends.
Oh, they're sleeping together.
Sure. She just got a job in the area and wanted to meet up with him.
Yeah, she wants to sleep with them.
He was going to go until I expressed my insecurity with the idea. He's told me he won't meet up with her because he's making sure I'm comfortable. And that is his number 1 priority right now.
Yeah, and his number 2 priority is that girl.
Still, I feel like I'm controlling his behavior and I'm mistrustful.
I wonder why.
I just sent him a text asking if he was going to meet up with her today. It was like I couldn't control my fingers. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm insecure in the relationship for good reason, but I truly see him trying.
I don't care.
I believe
Trying to
he's
cheat on you.
Yeah, trying to cheat on
Trying
you.
to cheat on you.
I believe he's giving it all he's got.
He's given something.
I don't feel like I'm giving it enough. I hold things against him and constantly bring up the past.
I think you're giving too much.
I don't know how to move beyond this. I feel like a bitter old woman already. I don't want to break it off with him, but I don't know how to trust him either. I feel like I'm punishing him sometimes, and it's painful for both of us. How do I just let it go? There are edits. There are updates. But, Sophia, do we think we should give this guy another chance?
No. How do I let it go? You let him go.
You let him
away.
go. But Sophia,
Far
he's
away.
changed. He's changed.
Okay. Changed clothes probably from all the people he's sleeping with.
Oh,
I'm sick of this man.
I am.
Changed sheets?
yeah,
Even.
I don't know. He doesn't
We don't
sound, he
even know.
sounds
I
like
don't
a
even know.
dirty,
Yeah.
dirty boy.
I don't know if he's changed sheets.
Yeah. Well, we got edits. We got updates.
Oh boy.
You ready to lock on in?
I'm ready.
All right. So, edit 1. I also feel I should add that I once cheated on a boyfriend. I understand for that.
Okay. In
I
this
feel
relationship?
some level of empathy for my current boyfriend and that we are both human beings and this stuff happens.
8 times.
I think I might not have fully forgiven myself. It's possible I'm staying out of the desire for penance.
We all know that you're a masochist.
Yeah.
That's very obvious from
Yeah.
this post.
Maybe she likes it.
Yeah, she's like, maybe after the 10th time he cheats.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of
think
like
about
10 Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers,
yeah,
you know.
Exactly.
You just got to get cheated on 8 times, then you're absolved.
No.
Edit 2. I've decided to go in for a therapy assessment tomorrow
Please.
through my university.
Good.
I'm not sure that I want to leave him,
I'm sure.
but I don't know that I can endure my crazy thoughts and feelings of mistrust much longer. All the comments are helping me so much right now. Thank you. I feel like I need to be constantly told that this is bad. It's bad, but
It's bad.
what is good is you're good in therapy to figure it out. Even just writing this edit, I feel like I'm wavering and have to go back down and read what you guys have written over and over. We got an edit 3. I went to my therapy appointment today.
Nice.
Turned out to only be a screening through which they would match me up with a therapist through the university. The screener suggested, however, that I seek long-term therapy. The screener's like, this girl needs it.
And she told her the problem and she's like,
Oh,
Oh.
honey.
I'm gonna give you my card.
Yeah, I'm giving you my personal phone number.
Call me anytime, darling.
That I seek long-term therapy with a private practitioner and was given referrals to 3 different people. I felt like I walked into the counseling office all zombied out, but that calling these people is going to take willpower, and then I need to follow through. I'm still talking with my boyfriend, but only intermittently. I will be leaving him as soon as I find an ounce of strength to do so. I wish I had been able to see an actual therapist today and get some sort of direction on how to build that strength up or what I can do in the meantime to protect myself emotionally. I think like hang out with your friends, go to the gym.
Get a support system or be around your support system if you have one.
I'm a wreck, but I'll follow through Reddit and we got an update.
Oh boy. I don't know. OP said like, well, whenever I get an ounce of strength, I'm going to break up with him. If you already are on the, page of I want to break up with him, I think that you need to just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. I know it feels harder than it sounds, but just go over there to break up and then leave and then run away.
Yeah. But we got an update.
Ooh.
My significant other picked me up from an impromptu dinner this evening. I spent the entire dinner trying to enjoy myself and him and us together, but I couldn't do it. I'd promised myself that I wouldn't bring up my insecurities anymore or question him any further about the cheating. But as we were leaving the restaurant, it all started coming out of me again. Before we got in the car, I watched a laughing girl piggyback on her guy's back across the street, and I realized that we might not ever have that sort of simple awesomeness again. I've been reeling from the cheating nonstop for 3 months now, and it's only gotten worse and worse. We kept talking in the parking lot outside my apartment, and it all just sort of devolved into a pulpy mess within an hour. I forced myself to tell him that I couldn't do it anymore.
She's doing it.
Yes,
she's doing it.
She's doing it. And that I was so sorry, but I tried as hard as I could, just like I promised I would. When we got back together, I truly did. I'm exhausted. I'm losing clumps of my hair.
Girl. Oh.
My back has started to hurt and I have stomach pains.
Yeah, because you're experiencing like so much anxiety on a day-to-day basis. Like she said, oh, well, when I wasn't with him, I couldn't eat. I couldn't do this. Yeah. It's like you're so much worse with him than you were without.
Well, we got more to this story.
Let's read it.
So I'm going to jump into it. But he asked if he could come walk me up to my door. I said that I would walk myself. And as I started to get out, he stopped me and begged me to stay. He said that he was all mine and that I have him forever and that he's so sorry. He kept repeating how sorry he was. And it felt so incredibly genuine. No, don't do it. I had such an effing hard time getting out of that car, but I did it. He then followed me into the parking lot and hugged me and said he was thankful I tried and that he loves me and that he's so sorry. It broke my effing heart. I don't know how I kept walking. I hugged him back, but I kept walking. He called me 10 minutes later on his drive home saying he doesn't accept that this is over and that he will wait for my call.
Oh, well, you'll be waiting a long time, bud.
Yeah, you'll be waiting your whole life. He said he won't text or Facebook me or call me or anything, but he'll be there when and if I'm ready.
I hate that.
With his 8 different women. I told him I would be ready for a long time, and then it was silent.
Don't say I wouldn't be ready for a long time.
And we both said goodbye.
That implies that you will be ready someday.
I went through my apartment and purged him. It was the effing saddest thing I've ever done to throw away the Valentine's Day flowers in an empty dumpster. To get rid of the lonely sock he left over at my house.
Oh, Lord.
To throw away the pajama pants I stole from him, the pancake mix he made me pancakes with. I feel so broken and exhausted and sad. I don't know how I walked away tonight. And I don't know how I'm going to stay away.
You're going to block him.
Block him.
You're going to block him.
I love him. And I feel so terrible about how much he's hurting right now because of me. Because I couldn't do it. I don't know how to grieve this or what to do with myself. It's more fear than anything, to be honest, though. I feel pretty numb right now. It was the only way I could walk away. I had a moment of numbness from somewhere. I know that tomorrow morning is going to be absolute crap. And if it's not, what does that say about me? By the way, something I want to say to you is you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update. But Sophia.
Yeah.
I mean,
OP got there. She dragged herself across the finish line. I'll take what I can get. But wow, girl, you're gonna take that recommendation for the long-term therapy.
Yeah, but we got a little bit more to this story. So anyway, that's my update. Thank you for all of your help. I feel like I still need a lot of it, though. I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. And there is an edit. There is an edit.
Hey, boy.
All right. He called me.
No, he said he
last
wouldn't.
night.
Liar.
What? This guy lies? To say that if I didn't take him back, he would turn into the basest husk of a human and not give a crap about anyone or anything in the world. He told me it was his fault that he wasn't loving enough, but I should have / could have tried harder.
Oh my gosh.
And he's going to wait for me because he thinks I'm just in the wrong mind frame. I barely thought about him today, and when I did, it was only because I saw things that reminded me of him and not of my own volition. I felt calm and had a good day, I guess, until he...
Heck yeah. I mean, she was saying like, oh, what does it mean if I don't even think about it, or like if I have a good day? It means that you've been released from a curse.
But I think because he reached out, I feel like she's still like, I think she barely thought about him. Or was that last night? Oh, he called me late last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It
seems like she's like,
oh,
you
so
know
he
what?
called late night, and she's like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah,
That's
props.
good. That's good.
Props, and that it probably will not last. That feeling, you're probably gonna go in waves of being like, oh, I want to be back together with him. What am I doing? And then
Don't
you're
get
gonna be
back
like,
together.
I don't think about it.
Don't get back together.
My husband cheated on me with our married friend, and then they became official when our divorce got finalized.
Oh, double whammy.
I mean, technically, happily ever after? I recently found out that my husband, 42, is cheating on me with our married best friend. She is the godmother to our 4 children. They don't know that I know, but I caught them making out at the end of our driveway when he was seeing her off after dinner with our family. He was doing a little more than seeing her off. We live on a small acreage, and the driveway is a long way off from the main house. By the way, this comes from user LoveCats86 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, she had forgotten some crockery at the house, and I decided to walk it over because for some reason, the two of them always took a while to say goodbye. Now I know why. That's when I saw them lit by her car's headlights, making out in the front seat with our best friend straddling my husband.
Oh.
It's a little steamy. In shock, I didn't know whether to throw her Pyrex at the car or just walk away. I decided the latter and was too shocked to cry or be angry.
I would have thrown it.
You would have thrown it right through the window.
Oh my gosh, yes.
When my husband got back, I had to pretend like everything was normal. I know that it sounds stupid, but I couldn't sleep that night, and I decided to go through his phone. She was obviously under a pseudonym, but I found a handful of their messages dating 2 or 3 years.
Oh!
Her husband does not know. He's currently posted overseas as a diplomat. I am sick with rage and betrayal. I'm lost and have no idea what steps to take next. And we have an update. Update number 1. Whoa, I did not expect this much support. It's really overwhelming. Just to clarify a few things. This is a private account I created just for this post, away from my usual account because I was scared it would be tracked back to me. I want to remain anonymous as much as I can. I don't live in the United States, but in Australia. Technically, I can't file for divorce immediately, as you need to be separated for 1 year and 1 day to file officially. My now ex-best friend just recently returned to the country because her father has cancer after being posted with her husband overseas. The dinner was to welcome her home, and what a welcome! There's some comments here about the headlights illuminating them. Sorry, I meant the overhead lights. As to what I'm going to do now, a part of me just wants to confront my husband, see what lame excuse he has, but I need to get away from him. This level of betrayal physically hurts. I can't help but think of all the times we spent together over the years and for how long our families were fooled. My mind is going crazy when she was single and he would rescue her from some bad date, or the times when they were alone in my house when the kids and I were out, how irrationally angry he was when he found out she had a boyfriend, then chose to marry him.
Whoa, the diplomats.
That should have been a red flag immediately that your husband was upset your best friend got married.
Yeah.
That's weird. Thinking back on it, the two of them disappeared at her wedding. When I asked him where he was, he said he needed to reassure her that she had done the right thing. Oh, God. I feel so sick thinking of these things. He was reassuring her.
It's not how you reassure, babe.
He was reassuring her, don't worry, you can still cheat even if you get married. Watch, we'll
Oh,
do
wow.
it right now
Oh, wow.
at your wedding.
That's wild.
Dude,
We got an update?
we got another update.
Oh, God.
I hope these people being thrown into space. My God. Thank you, everyone, for your concern and advice. As of tomorrow, my husband is out of town. I've tried really hard to act normal around my now ex-best friend, but it's proving difficult and I feel sick. I have been telling both of them that I've caught some terrible bug and I'm just not feeling myself. While my husband is out of town for the next few days, my sister-in-law, who is the only other person who knows about this, will help me pack important documents and store them somewhere my husband doesn't know about. I've organized for my kids to stay with them for a week while I sort my crap out. I've spoken to a family lawyer and they have told me that the best way to start the separation procedure is to no longer be living under the same roof. I'm fortunate in that most of our assets are also in my name, and the land our house is on was gifted to us by my parents. I'm planning to kick him out after this trip. But before that, I want to catch them both in the act again, have some hard proof, send it to the ex-friend's husband, and get the ball rolling for moving on with my life. Well, I think that's the right position to be in, for sure. I'll update with what happens after the confrontation, and it is update number 3.
All right.
I mean, I'm hoping you're going about this the right way. It's very tactical. It's got to be so. Can you imagine having to pretend like everything's cool, though?
I remember reading one story where someone pretended for like 6-7 years to get the bag. But I could probably pretend for like a week or two. I would blame it on, oh, work's not going great. Oh, this thing's not going great. I would blame it on that if I had to like make sure I have enough evidence and that I will get custody of my children. Yes, I would.
Getting all your ducks in a row. That's what OP seems to be doing here.
Yeah. But it's hard.
It's really hard. Update number 3. My husband came home 2 nights ago from his trip. While he was gone, I had organized a lot of the important documents like financial, birth certificates, passports, anything that he could potentially use to try and get more than what he deserves, which is nothing. They are now safely stored, and my kids have been staying with their aunt and uncle for the past few days. I had packed all my husband's things, and he has been really good at keeping his tracks clean because there was no evidence of his affair within his stuff. I placed all his belongings in the garage, ready for the confrontation with him. I was super nervous because I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision. Once he came home and I remembered seeing him kissing our best friend, I remembered the deep hurt that they had caused. I was in our kitchen when he came home, and he knew straight away something was wrong. During that week, I had been distant and had barely answered his texts and screened his calls. I did answer every now and again and gave the kids a chance to speak to their dad. He asked me why I hadn't been responding to his texts, and he tried to kiss me, but I turned away. And before I knew it, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I want a separation.
Wow.
Sometimes it just... Hey,
It doesn't
sometimes
feel right.
you spill the beans. Sometimes they just start spilling.
That's okay. I think that's fine.
Oh, I mean, if all the stuff's already in the garage, yeah, it was time. I have to admit that he didn't look very surprised when I said it. He nodded his head and said, "What do you know?" Oh,
What do you know?
dude, I feel like that just took all of the power away from OP. That sucks. Him saying that was just a punch in the gut because I wanted him to deny it or say something like it was a one-off thing. I asked him to tell me everything, like when did it start, and he said they started about 10 years ago. Whoa!
What?
At first, it was flirtatious messaging and a sneaky kiss in the office when they briefly worked together.
Oh.
God, that's
Oh
where it
my.
started in the office.
Damn, it always starts in the office.
Dude, no. The affair was on and off that whole time. She apparently always felt guilty, and her way out of that was to marry the next man that was interested in her and propose to her. He admitted that they had spicy sleep on her wedding day. And when he is out of town, they meet.
Hoorah, hoorah. At least he's not lonely.
Well, you've got the proof now, right? I hope this is being recorded.
Yeah.
At this point, I couldn't breathe and I was sobbing. I hated that the next words out of my mouth was, "Did you even ever love me?" He hesitated and said, "Yes, of course," but he was never in love with me the way he was with her.
There's a thing called breaking up that you can do in order not to do this to someone that you love, in air quotes.
Yeah, hesitation is all I would have needed from that.
Yeah.
This, gross. I cleared my throat and had said to him that he should tell her husband. There's no point in hiding it anymore. Yeah, he should have to. I think that's a good idea. I told him that all his stuff was in the garage and he can find somewhere else to stay. I let him know that I have spoken to a family lawyer, and I told him that when I feel ready, and only when I feel ready, will we see each other again and talk about the future arrangement with the kids. I said any further communication can be done through my sister-in-law or my brother. I said he is allowed to see the kids, but only at their place. I am, of course, wanting full custody of the children because it hurts too much to give him anything at this point. He agreed to all of my points because he knew he was in the wrong. He tried to say sorry, and then I absolutely lost my crap and screamed, "No effing way are you sorry. For 10 effing years, you have both deceived everyone we know. Please take your crap and leave and tell that woman you've been effing for 10 years that I don't ever want to see her effing face again."
Nice.
My God, I wish
As
I
you
could have
should.
said all of those curse words.
Yeah?
That would have been so cathartic. But man, I bet that felt
Yeah, you needed to say it.
relieving. It was a release.
For
The
sure.
gas valve. Turn it. That's all the pressure releasing.
Like the gray in Arcane.
Certainly not my shining moment, but also a culmination of all of the hurt and anger over the last few weeks that they have caused. I have no intention of talking to my ex-best friend, or really to my soon-to-be ex-husband, until I have had the time to grieve. So thank you, community, for the encouragement and the advice. I hope I can heal and move on from this. There's an update number 4.
I have a sneaking suspicion. I know exactly where he's going to run to.
To the diplomat's wife?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like it.
Oh, no.
They certainly enjoyed working together,
Yep.
and they had a lot of fun at her wedding.
So the rest of his life will just be with her.
Dude, I wonder if that diplomat might... Imagine the diplomat takes it personally and then just tries to, like, destroy this guy's life.
Oh, boy.
Do
Probably.
you have that power as a diplomat? I
Who
don't know.
knows? We're about to find out.
Thank you, everyone who has been messaging over the last year to see how I'm going and asking for an update. It's been a crazy, painful year, but our divorce has been finalized and I'm free. Thank God. My ex-husband and my ex-best friend, as no surprise, are now in an actual relationship after the ex-best friend's husband found out about the affair. He divorced her, and since then, we have met up for coffee to check in on each other and our mental health. He's been great, sending encouraging messages, and he lives overseas, and from his Facebook updates, has started dating again, so I'm very happy for him.
Damn. OP, you were about to do the most funniest thing you could have done in this situation.
Partner swap, except I've technically been dating your wife for 10 years. Take the diplomat, dude.
Yeah.
The legal and custody battles have been fairly stressful, but the ex-husband agreed to all of my terms. The custody of the children was the only thing he really fought for. I have custody of the kids, and he sees them on the weekends. The kids, including myself, have all been going to therapy separately. My ex-husband wants to see them more, and during school break, the kids have the choice to stay with him or me. They've been good about it and stay with him for a week or so and then back to their mummy. Apart from necessary conversation, I steer away from my ex-husband and the ex-best friend. It still hurts so much, and I understand that it will take some time to heal, but I'm letting go because I don't want them to have that level of influence over my life. But by the way, we want to have all the influence in your life when you join us when we go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Tippity tap tap.
We're probably live right now.
Dang. OP, I'm sorry. You got the L on this one. You got handed the L.
Yeah, but I think you handled it like an absolute champion.
Yeah.
Like,
Dirty scoundrels.
you have the enlightened approach, which is like, I don't even, I'm not going to talk bad. I'm not going to talk good. I'm just going to not have these people exist in my life anymore. For the kids, I will talk to you briefly, whatever is necessary, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to be vengeful.
Nope.
I'm not going to be upset. Moving on. And that's
All you can do, and you're doing that. And we're proud. That's awesome.
it would have been cool if you moved on with the diplomat, But it's also understandable. It's like that would be a constant reminder of the whole situation.
Like,
So
I'm
it's
with him because my ex-partner hurt me.
Yeah.
That's not fair to the diplomat.
Yeah,
Or to
exactly.
yourself either.
But sounds like you
Made the right choice.
definitely made the right choice. And in time, Mr. Wonderful will come along, or Mrs. Wonderful. Who knows? I don't know. You never know. Keep an open mind. I decided to sell the property we were living in and move closer to family and friends because, as you know, it takes a village. And I have been extremely grateful for the support I have received over the last year. I'm tearing up just as I'm writing this, knowing that I couldn't go through all of this without my loved ones. And for myself, I am happy overall, still a work in progress, but grateful for life. The kids and myself have been enjoying life, and when we have the time and the money, we try to take little trips here and there, so the traumatic events of the divorce doesn't linger and can be replaced by good memories. Memories where they've spent road trips and adventures with their mom.
Aw,
That's nice.
that is nice.
You need a support system.
You do.
And she didn't talk that much about the whole support system until the very end there, but shout out the support system.
Facts.
That is the end of that story.
I broke up with my boyfriend because he wanted to marry me.
I guess you weren't ready.
So me and my ex-boyfriend had a very fun, awesome relationship. About 7 months ago, we broke up because I found an engagement ring in his bedside drawer with its receipt, documents, etc. And also a piece of paper with different speeches and ways he was planning to ask me to marry him. By the way, this comes from Deleted. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, long story short, I got scared and I left him. I essentially broke his heart because I was scared and I feel awful for it. And it hurts because I still love him and I can't believe I hurt him over my own insecurities. Tell him that.
Yeah.
Maybe fix it.
There's a really easy solution here, OP, and it's just go tell your boyfriend that you got scared.
Yeah, it's called communication. And to be honest, last 7 months or so have been awful without him. And I've been all over the place dating guys I didn't like, but got with just to feel better about the breakup. The breakup was totally my fault. I have no excuses as to why I did what I did, nor am I trying to make any. My reasoning at the time was I had a big work trip coming up in a different country, which I ended up finishing early because I hated it. And that I'm terrified of commitment due to coming from a broken family with a harmful father, and I'm scared of ending up like my mom. And the thing is, I know those two things aren't valid reasons, and I know they're completely irrational, but at the time I panicked. I didn't even tell him I found the ring. I just made up a BS fake reason.
Okay, easy solution. Therapy, tell him all of that.
Yep. Since I returned from my work trip, I've met with him quite a lot. We've had coffee, talked, gone to parties together, and we still hang out together with our same friend group. Weird.
Therapy, tell him all that.
And every bit of time I spend with him, I regret my decision more and more. All this backstory brings me to today. He messaged me and asked me if he could meet me on my lunch break. So I said, yeah, sure. So I took my lunch with me and went and sat on a picnic bench, which I always do during my lunch in the summer, and texted him saying where I was. He turns up and sits down next to me and we just talk. He tells me he misses me, that he still loves me, and that he wants me back. I told him I feel the same, but it's complicated. Tell him the truth.
It's not complicated.
Then he pulled out a ring box and opened it and asked me to marry him. The same ring I saw in his drawer. I don't know if you can go from broken up to marriage like
My
that.
guy,
Read
no.
the room. But like, I appreciate the sentiment. And as soon as I saw it, I felt the same panic in the pit of my stomach that I felt when I first laid eyes on it. I told him the truth of why I left because I was scared of what would happen, but that I do love him and that I never stopped loving him. And I hate that we're not together, but I'm terrified at the thought of commitment in case I end up like my parents. He told me he's happy. That's the reason I left, because he knows now that I did not leave because I didn't love him anymore, and that we can work through it if I'm willing to. You can.
You can, guys.
You can, girl. Girl, talk to him.
Come on.
We ended up kissing for the first time since the day we broke up. And honestly, it was amazing. And I can't stop thinking about it. He gave me the ring box, told me to think about it, and then left. So now I'm sitting at home looking at the gorgeous sapphire ring
Stop.
he picked out and thinking, what the heck is so wrong with me? What should I do? How do I go about this? How do I get over my fear of commitment and end up with the only man I've ever loved? Edit, please stop commenting / private messaging me about how it'll be different when I have kids of my own, or saying stuff along those lines. I can't have children. And edit 2, from reading more and more comments now, I'm questioning everything. His motives, his behavior. Wait, what? Wait. There's like way more to this story.
What?
But wait.
What?
I mean, yes, it is odd that he went straight for proposal.
But he was already ready to propose
He
to
was
her.
all ready to propose. I'm confused. I don't know if I saw any red flags.
I
Red
didn't.
flags? But
I
based
mean,
on what
not that
was
we
written.
read.
Not
Yeah.
that we read.
Like maybe OP sees more, but like she's saying the comments saw the red flags.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. I feel so stupid. I didn't see all these red flags because I was blinded by love. Now I'm also wondering if he even loved me or if I was just a young lay for him.
What? He wants to marry you.
Edit 3, yes, I know I may be jumping to conclusions about the red flags, but this is a brief snippet of our time together, and I'm having red flags from his behavior during the relationship and certain warning signs I didn't see. Is this?
I didn't see them.
Maybe this is the her being afraid of commitment again.
I think it is because what are you talking about?
I'm so confused. Yeah, Kim Fine says that came out of left field.
Nowhere.
The dogs are out.
Ew.
A sapphire
Beautiful.
ring too, like
Dude, I want an emerald ring.
that's the
Emerald.
first thing I got for sapphire ring, and
That's beautiful. I would
Yeah.
love a gold and emerald ring.
Can you look up gold and emerald ring?
My ideal.
yeah, I've looked it up. She wants what did you want around it? Like the
I just want it to look like an elvish ring.
yeah, that's what it was. We found
Like
something
a dainty, something dainty.
Ishan's ring is beautiful.
Really beautiful. I was looking at the close up. I don't know if you saw on
No.
Steph's story.
No.
There's a close up from the place that they bought it from posted, and it's beautiful.
Damn, if the place you bought it from posted it, that's how you know it's good. It's only because I'm getting an outside perspective without emotion that I'm seeing the other side. I was emotional at first when I wrote the post. As you can tell, I'm all over the place because the situation isn't exactly normal. He's reading all these comments and we've spoken on the phone since, but he won't discuss it with me over the phone. So until I finished work, he's come over to my house. I can't come to a solution with him or even get answers on his intentions. He wants to marry you.
Dang.
Damn.
He literally just wants to marry you, and Opie's like, "Oh, what does he want? Like,
does he
girl,
want?
what are you talking about?
He just wants to
He just wants
be with
a
you."
quick lay. He's trying to marry you."
This is what Sophia wants.
But we got...
Oh.
I thought you were gonna
I
say
also was like,
play.
"What?" I don't like that one though.
But we got
I wanted to be like
oval. Yeah.
This is wrong. Also, Serenity Equine Horse. No, wait, was it Serenity Horse Ranch ruined my
Emeralds are
dreams?
easily
And
cracked.
that's sad.
Dang.
I'll just be careful.
But we got
I've never been known to bump into anything.
an update. If you kept up with the last post and followed to any extent, then you will know that I was meeting with my ex after work today to discuss the whole proposal and to discuss the whole relationship in general. Well, I did. He came to my place after work and I'm crying as I type this because most of you were right about him.
What are you talking? Where did you guys get all this?
My heart feels broken and I don't know what to do from here. I can go into more detail on this post as opposed to my last one, and I can clarify things more now because I'm no longer defending him.
What did
This
we miss
post
something?
It's going to be a long post, so I'm warning you now. It may be long. All right. I
I'm
think we're going to
genuinely
get context
so
now, but I'm so
confused.
confused. When he came to my house, my best friend had come too for support, and she went upstairs and kept the bedroom door open to make sure if I needed any help, then I could get it. He was not happy that she was there. I told him that's the only way I'll speak is if she's there because I don't think being alone together is appropriate. But you were just hanging out as friends. I'm confused. First of all, he went on a tangent about how I should never have made a post and that was a stupid thing to do. He asked me like 1,000 times to remove it because I changed the password to the account before I made the post. He's extremely mad he can't take it down. He was focused on that in the beginning until our conversation progressed. And he was getting incredibly irate, such as pacing back and forth, huffing and puffing, throwing things. And then the conversation moved onto the gosh dang ring. I told him that it was inappropriate and unfair of him that after 7 months of no romantic contact or talk that he would propose out of the blue.
I'm like, yeah, it was a weird move, but he went from being about to propose to you running away because you were scared, then to you guys clearly having unresolved romantic feelings for each other. Like both of you had that feeling. You said yourself that you still were in love with him and missed him.
He didn't like that and got aggressive with me.
Okay, that's not cool.
Told me I'd never find anyone like him, how no one would ever marry me, especially because I can't have kids, so I'm useless to most men.
Aw, he sucks.
So I should marry him because he loves me more than life. What a sales pitch,
Dang,
my man.
wow. Okay, well, there it is. He sucks.
And would never hurt me, all whilst an attempt to make me feel small and like he's in charge. I kept telling him on what planet does he think he can do all this, then expect me to roll over and take it. And his response was, you already did.
Wow.
So the majority of you were right. To him, I was literally just some inexperienced girl he could manipulate and take advantage of. He clearly didn't love me, and all this actually hurts because I genuinely love this person, and now I'm confused about how I could have been so naive to not notice anything.
I mean, apparently you weren't that naive. You left him.
Part of me thinks I was so preoccupied with ending up like my parents that I miss all the warning signs. Like many of you said, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. I gave him the ring back and told him I don't want to see him anymore. And he then turned to begging after realizing intimidation wasn't working. Literally him on his knees with crocodile tears and his arms wrapped around my legs, telling me how much he loves me. He'll buy me whatever I want. I've never been financially dependent on him. I have my own place and he said he'd do whatever I want him to do to make it right. I told him there's nothing I want from him anymore and that I want him to leave. I mean, again, after that sales pitch, come on.
Bye.
Bye.
At which point there was a knock at the door. My friend thankfully had texted her dad about what was going on, and he came around and asked him to leave. Otherwise, the police would be phoned. And he told him to never contact me again, or he'll make him feel as intimidated as he was making me feel. His face was a picture. He really didn't like someone talking to him the way he speaks to me. So he said he'd leave. In the process of leaving, he threw the ring box near me. No idea why. Literally 0 points. My friend's dad pushed him out the door whilst he was shouting all sorts of things, and that was the end of that. But it doesn't have to be the end of listening to this podcast. You can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss.
Wow.
Whoa.
Came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere.
Also,
whoa.
OP, I want to say, like, be nicer to yourself. Because
Yeah.
apparently you called it 7 months ago.
You knew. You had the inside scoop.
You knew.
Yeah, dang.
So, like, OP's like, I should have seen it. You apparently did.
Apparently,
You
got
just
that
didn't know that you
feminine
saw
intuition.
it. Serenity Horse Ranch says her spider
Ooh.
senses knew. You
Yeah.
apparently
The spider
nailed
senses
it, and you
knew.
didn't know why you knew.
Also, I don't think we ever got the context of the ages.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know they've been dating for 7 months. The ages, are you guys ready for this?
Yeah. Hit me with
This
the
is
ages.
huge. OP, 22.
22 is OP.
Boyfriend,
Boyfriend.
34.
30.
So this makes a lot more sense because OP is so young and like
22 and
Yeah.
34.
7 months as well.
Question: are we sure that they've been dating 7 months? Because he said they've been apart for 7 months.
Oh, let me see. They said
Because
Take a spot. How long have OP and this guy been dating?
oh, yeah, it doesn't say.
Ding a spot.
Will it work?
Will it work?
Oh,
Will it
no.
work?
Ding a
Come on.
spot.
Sorry,
How
7
long
months
have
is they were not
they been
together.
dating?
How long have they been dating?
Just it doesn't say.
We don't know. But it doesn't say, but I think they've been dating for longer than 7 months because they've been apart for 7 months. Wow, yeah, we didn't see any of it. Apparently, some of the commenters read into things that we didn't read into.
Maybe it was because
Maybe
of
there was
the
an edit.
ages.
Yeah.
The
Knowing the
34,
ages
22.
does point out a lot. Wow, yeah. You really nailed it, OP. Your intuition was spot on.
But we got a little bit more to the story. So now I'm expecting he's not going to leave me alone, especially after the passive-aggressive threat that he could ruin my life. I've asked to talk to my manager tomorrow so I can warn her of what happened and that he may post stuff about me on social media in an attempt to get me to lose my job. My best friend's dad said he'll take me to the police station tomorrow and we'll start a report because he's worried that after what my friend told him that it won't be the last I hear from him. So at least if anything else happens, I've just started one and can eventually get a restraining order against him. I just hope I can get through this.
Dang, man. Wow.
Woo! That went from 0
To 100. So quickly.
Real quick. Yeah. 22
And presumably
34.
she was probably a little bit younger when they first started dating. Like I would say like she was probably like at least like if he was about to marry her, probably 21, 20.
Yeah. I mean,
At
Keon,
the
do you think you
least.
could pull up the story and see if there's any other
Other
updates?
updates?
Or
Yeah.
comments,
yeah,
I would
or
say.
comments where we
The
can get
comments
some
would
more
I would love
great.
comments. Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, Kim finds his 18-year-old me wouldn't see a problem with the ages. It'd prob be a selling point.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
are rubies harder than emeralds? Because I could be down for a ruby.
Charlie James says also, of course, at 22, you don't want to get married.
Yeah.
Like you're so young and obviously did pick up on weird vibes.
Yeah, the
Ultraviolet
ages in this
90X
story are super
said,
relevant.
Stay away from him, OP.
I just have a couple since again it's
what
from
does it
deleted. I just
Yeah.
have a couple.
I
hold
can't
on.
see it anymore.
Yeah, what were some of the comments?
I'm getting him right now.
Can you
They're
read
right
some of them?
Yeah, I can read them.
Let me make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Read it a little big please. Thank you. Reed City says the fact that you were able to get yourself out of the cycle speaks volumes. Be proud of yourself and how you were able to stand up for yourself. That's amazing. OP says, thank you. I'm really shocked. I didn't think I could do that. Goes to show that I don't know everything about myself after all.
I want to see, can we go to the original post?
The original post.
Like the first
I will
post?
check, but again, it's deleted. That's why.
It was deleted?
Yeah,
Dang.
it's deleted.
That's why. Yeah, that's probably why I don't have all that.
Yeah,
those
all the
comments.
context, yeah.
But I do think OP luckily saw through this in time.
Yeah. And Amber says, what's the age gap? It's 22 and 34.
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years.
That's a good amount. It's a good amount. It's a good amount. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I feel great about this, but I do feel great that OP saw it and is not dealing with that anymore.
Sometimes you got that gut feeling that it's just not right. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I'm doubting it. Maybe I'm just afraid of something or other. But sometimes it's because your gut knows more than you do. Your brain can overthink. Your gut just has the instincts.
Anonymous42 says, I had a friends with benefit thing with someone 13 years older than me. Anytime he wanted to get more serious, he started acting like a dumb teenager and ran away. Yeah. I mean, usually if a guy, a much older guy, or any much older person is dating someone younger,
it's
they
because
probably
they're
are
immature.
immature.
Yeah. You don't, I mean, it's power and because you're immature.
And immaturity.
Manipulation.
Yeah. Or desire for power, to be clear.
The fact that he said all that stuff too. And,
And
a little whack.
That it's not always the case. There are some age gap relationships that work out great.
Yeah, sometimes it is. But that's the end of that story. We're going to get into this next one.
I think my wife of 14 years is cheating on me. And I have proof.
Cheater? I don't even know her.
Not anymore. I, 35 male, think that my wife, 33 female, is cheating on me and has been for many years. We've been together for 14 years. We've been married for almost 10, and we have a 5-year-old daughter together. By the way, this comes from user Icy Warp. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, incident number 1. When my wife and I were in college, where we first started dating, we had an incident where she had some really spicy graphic texts from a guy we both knew from school. She even had classes with him. I confronted her about the texts, which I definitely didn't handle well, and basically accused her straight out of the gate as cheating on me without realizing there were some possible outs for her. One of those outs was that she claimed that they were just some pervy texts that she got from this guy out of the blue, and that if I had paid any attention when I was snooping through her phone, that she hadn't actually responded to any of them. At the time, I conceded that I may have overlooked that possibility and I had overreacted. She apologized to me for not mentioning to me that some guy was hitting on her like that, and I apologized for overreacting and for snooping. We moved on from there. Incident number 2. Fast forward to this last year. My daughter, wife, and I are at the gas station. I can tell my wife is kind of distant and detached from the interactions my daughter and I are having. I notice that she's glued to her phone as well. The gas fill for our car is on the passenger side, and I have the rear passenger door open so I can tickle my daughter while I wait for the car to fill up. It's adorable. I'm really suspicious of what my wife is doing at this point, so I decide that I'm going to take a look over my wife's shoulder from the back seat at what it is she's so caught up in. Turns out, she is actively, in the moment, spicy texting some guy.
No!
So, like, words, descriptions, and acts that very much seem like they've been doing this for a while through text. And looking back with 2020 hindsight, I'm fairly certain that they had been effing as well. Also, all the crap she was texting was super graphic. Stuff that she never used with me, either in dirty talk or when we got intimate. And I know this next admission is pathetic and that it shouldn't matter more than anything else, but the fact that she has wanted to share in these acts with this man instead of me really effing hurt.
Yeah.
Guys, talk to your partners about what y'all want.
Yeah.
In
Come
all
on.
respects. Like, that's also a big one. What do we want?
Exactly.
What do we like?
Exactly.
Let's do that. That's probably just my pride talking, but it is what it is. So, fast forward 10 minutes when we got home, and I have to suffer through smiling during dinner and the whole nighttime ritual of getting our daughter to bed so as not to cause a scene by blowing up at my wife for what I had seen her texting. Honestly, that was probably a blessing because it allowed me to collect my thoughts before confronting her. I end up telling my wife what I saw at the gas station, and right off the bat, she tries to play dumb with the, "What are you talking about?"
Of course.
Honey, you're making no sense. I told her to to not play dumb with me. And I recited some of the texts that I could remember back to her to prove that I saw what I saw. She then goes on to admit that it was a mistake, but that it was 100% nothing physical and that she was really sorry. She admitted that the guy was a work colleague. Oh, dude, it's your work husband?
No.
You have a work husband.
No.
Yeah, we talked a lot that night about why she felt she needed to be doing that. A lot of it had boiled down to her feeling depressed and lonely. We talked about strategies that we could invoke at home, things that we both could change to help mend this rift. I guess things kind of felt okay after that, but it felt like the damage to our trust was already done, and I don't think I've ever really recovered. Even that seemingly small moment of infidelity, assuming that was only text, was just such an effing hammer in my heart. Brother, you don't have to minimize that. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, you don't need to just like shrug it off.
We just live in an era where that's the kind of communication we can have. Like,
Yeah.
at any other time in human history, that would have been, her explicitly cheating on you physically and emotionally with some other guy behind your back while you're not
Exactly.
around.
Exactly.
She's just doing that same thing through her phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, ever since that incident from last year, I've been waking up every day as a lesser version of my former self. My emotions and propensity to feel anything have been severely muted. Interacting with my daughter is about the only thing that gets me back to close to a baseline of how I remember my former self. But beyond those precious moments, I'm just a walking, grayed out zombie that puts on a good face for pretty much everything for my day to day. Going to work, interacting with my wife, all of it. And we have the most recent incident number 3.
Oh boy.
And let me just say, as someone who's been in a relationship where it got to a point where every day I woke up feeling like a chump and like I was just like getting chumped on every day. I was
Yeah.
a little more and more of a chump.
Yeah.
You got to make a change. And whether you make that change together or the change is to be separated, you got to make a change.
Exactly. Can't go on like that forever.
Yeah. The most recent incident. Now fast forward to yesterday. My wife has been gone on a week-long work trip to the East Coast. We are on the West Coast. I actually had zero suspicions or justifiable reasons to be worried for this trip because things had been going pretty well between us. And she hadn't really given off any indicators of suspicious behavior. But my first clue was that when she arrived at her destination, she couldn't get the Wi-Fi working for FaceTime. She can't get the FaceTime working, and it stayed true for the entirety of the trip. First of all, FaceTime works on cellular data just fine. I explained that to her without much of a response. Second, I know that if I were gone for a week from my family, it would be my biggest effing priority to get FaceTime up and running so that I could see my family's faces every time I called to visit, which would be every single night, which brings me to my next point. She called us in the evening to say goodnight maybe 2 times out of the 7 days that she was gone. Based on previous trips she's had, this has been really strange. Normally, she is like clockwork touching base with us to share her day and to hear from us about our day, and again, always on FaceTime. I asked her about that, and she claimed that she was just too tired in the evenings to get back to us. Too tired from like all that hard work, or too tired for all of that hard work.
That hard work.
Also, in the past, if she was away from me or away from home, she would always text me goodnight and that she loved me, even if we had previously chatted moments earlier on FaceTime or on a phone call. For this recent trip, she never texted me once. So when she got back, my radar was on high alert. Now, I don't feel good about this next part, but when she went to sleep that night, I checked her travel bag to see if my suspicions were correct. Sure enough, to my surprise, she keeps this little red book as a diary in her work bag. There's no way she journaled this.
She's
dude.
not even good about hiding
There's
it.
no way
What?
she journaled her affair.
That's crazy. It like if you're gonna have an affair, which don't do that, by the way. But if you're going to do it, don't keep a log of like, oh yes, and these are all the details of my affair partner's body and what he did to my body.
And at that point, you can't even be like, oh, it was meaningless. It's like you're journaling
yeah.
about it.
There's clearly some kind of emotion there,
Yeah.
even if it's not love.
Oh, God. So I open it up, and there's a date marked 2/9/15. It turns out she'd started writing a poem on that day about our daughter who had just been born the previous fall. Okay, that's really sweet, I say to myself. And I start feeling bad about my snooping. I flip to the next page, and there's a new entry. No date, but it's written sequentially right after the aforementioned poem. So I know what I describe here was an entry that came after our daughter being born. This non-dated entry starts off with her describing how much she longs for this specific person. She doesn't give his name. She goes on to talk about how she can't stop thinking about him. Every man she sees reminds her of him. She talks about how she never really intended for things to go very far, but that one night that started in the bar and ended up going upstairs just felt too right to not be something meaningful.
No.
She goes on to say that she doesn't feel bad about making that decision in regard to how it impacts her other life. She describes how she thinks maybe her other life was the mistake.
Oh my gosh.
This goes on for pages. That entry ends with her making peace with herself, that he moved on from her, and it was time for her to forget about him. I'm assuming that her other life is our daughter and me.
Yeah.
So, before I get
Oh.
any farther into this, we're only about halfway through.
Oh, wow.
Me? I take a picture of that. I don't
Yeah.
know why that was my camera sound effect, but I
No,
take a picture of that.
I get it.
I send it to my wife,
Uh-huh.
and then she never hears from me again unless it's from my legal counsel for the divorce.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that's happening now.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
can't get over that.
No. Right after their daughter was born, right after. So this whole time, like, it's the opposite, which is what we've heard so many times, which is still awful. You know, where like the man is off because like the wife is pregnant, she's making this child. Like, I'm assuming he was being a great husband and like taking care of her while she was pregnant, waiting for this child that hopefully is theirs.
He sounds like a very understanding, patient dude, especially given that they made it through him discovering those, spicy texts
Yeah, so
happening
many times.
literally right in front of him
Literally.
while he's playing with their daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got through that like that.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been a way bigger issue for me. But yeah, dude, I'm also using that in the divorce proceedings. I'm going to be like, she literally thinks me and her daughter are a mistake. So I want primary custody and I want it all.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
Take pictures of it. If not to send her, then just to have as proof.
Yeah.
Rip the papers out.
Right. Literally gather that as evidence.
Yeah.
So there was only one more entry after the previous one. I took pictures of it and have typed it out here in its entirety. Quote, I'm laughing to myself because I haven't opened this book in over 2 years, and here I am sitting in his bed, in his room, at his home, still feeling angst over so many of the same things. I'll go home after having a week with him, and I'll be asking the same questions. Is he ever going to call again after? Was it so stupid to go on this trip? So funny how I thought we'd never speak again, and look where I am. We worked together, we talked almost every day, and he was there for me as a friend. Now here I am, and back with questions. Why were we so hot and cold those first couple of days and then just tapered off? Maybe he's doing that moral compass wrestling, and after I leave, we'll never speak again. This trip was probably a bad idea, but we had a lot of fun, and he did say he's been looking forward to it. He missed me. He wanted this. I know that. I wish he would just tell me he wants me, just me, and always me. It's like we dance around things because he still wants us to have this thing happening despite the rest of my life, and I just don't want to talk about that to the point that I'm lying, and I hate lying to him. But meanwhile, every tender moment I have with him is so precious. I can't believe it. I couldn't imagine we'd actually be snuggling on the couch, and there we were.
I hate lying to my affair partner, but not lying to my husband about having an affair partner.
Buddy, I'll see you in the gym. All right, this is where we go. I'll see you there. I got your membership covered, my guy.
There you go.
Straight up. Because that
Man.
would turn me into a suit of armor if I read that. I'm not coming out.
Yeah.
I haven't slept since reading that last full entry, and I haven't confronted her yet either. It's been almost 48 hours now without sleep, and I am just an emotional wreck. I don't know how to handle the situation. I guess I've gotten so good at wearing this zombie mask ever since incident number 2 happened that I've been able to limp through the last couple of days, but it's getting really, really hard to be around her. I hopped online and read some guides on how to deal with infidelity, and most of the guides mentioned therapy, so I'm going to look into that tomorrow. Just filing for divorce isn't so simple. My wife has a serious seizure disorder that is uncontrolled. She can't tell when they're happening, so that puts herself and possibly others, like small kids, especially our daughter to be exact, in danger. I mention this as it pertains to custody. Imagine she's making dinner for her and my daughter one evening and she has a seizure near the stovetop and the house catches on fire. Well, buddy, let me just say this. It sounds like you should have full custody then.
Perhaps.
Imagine she's making dinner for her and my daughter one evening, and she has a seizure near the stovetop, and the house catches on fire. Well, the only adult in the house is lying on the floor unconscious. Or what if my daughter has a medical emergency, but then my wife has a seizure due to the stress of the situation? These are very real possibilities and ones that I fear could happen if she got custody in any way. Some of those examples aren't too far off from other real-life incidents we've had over the years due to her seizure disorder. She obviously can't drive. Would this factor into a custody dispute? I mean, our daughter is starting kindergarten in a month. How could my wife transport her? I don't know what I'm looking for with this whole rambling post. Maybe just assurance that her gaslighting isn't working? That what I've described isn't the workings of an overly paranoid mind? No, buddy. Unfortunately, they're not. I feel like one minute I'm ready to file for divorce, and then the next, I want to try to salvage things for the sake of our daughter and just to avoid the awful mess that will be made of all three of our lives if we end up separating. Here's some other logistical details that seem important for anyone who's managed to read this far. We own a house together and have a mortgage. We have significant investments that we have joint control over and that were given to us by her dad. They total somewhere in the range of a lot in stocks and bonds. I'm on wonderful terms with her parents and family in general. I've always been that son-in-law that was there for everyone to lend help to, no matter how small or large. All of her immediate family is right here where we live. I have zero family support from my side where we live. My nearest friend is an hour and a half away. Thanks for any help in advance. And we have some comments. I think her family is going to be given what you just described, very receptive to helping you and your daughter through all of this.
Yeah.
And will probably be objectively horrified at what your wife has done here.
Hopefully, man, because there's still been so many stories where it's like the family still backs them up. But at the same time, it's probably because it comes from the cheater and they are not telling the story correctly or something.
Or it's like, sometimes, we get stories where people are just like, why doesn't their family ever like me? It's like, this family already likes you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Gotta imagine you get some support from them. But
Hopefully, man.
But you need to put it out in the open.
Yep.
We have comments here. I mean, I assume we're both on divorce.
Yeah. Divorce.
Number 1, paternity test time. OP says, I may do that at some point, but not now. It's just not that important in the grand scheme. Dude, WOP being like, dude, even if this isn't my daughter, that's my daughter now.
Yeah.
She's my daughter.
That's nice.
I don't care. It's my daughter.
Right.
Also, for what it's worth, my daughter is a spitting image of me. It's uncanny. Reply says, you're forgetting that the ex-wife can order a paternity test if she knows he's not the father. Then she can get the real father to sue for custody and pretend he's been active in their daughter's life. It's never good to remain ignorant, in my opinion. You may also want your own kids one day, and that might make you feel differently about financially supporting someone else's child. OP says the main problem with that argument is they would have to prove she's been a part of his life, but my daughter has never been away from me for a single day, except when she's at daycare, which has a record of her sign-ins and sign-outs. It would be so easy to disprove that type of deception. That being said, it does give me something to watch out for, so thank you. Comment 2 says, do you ever plan on telling your daughter? I feel like if there is one person who has a right to know, it should be your daughter. She is still pretty young, but I feel like at some point it would be wise to tell her the truth. I also know growing up, I would be mad at both parents if they never told me the truth as to why they broke up when I was younger. Just something to mull over for you. And I think we've gotten this question a lot, and I usually say somewhere around 12. Somewhere in the beginning middle school age range.
Like when to tell them?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if that's the right or not. It's I feel like it could be a very emotionally volatile time, but it's also I think if you tell them earlier, they don't necessarily have the depth to fully comprehend it.
Yeah,
but it's
maybe.
Which one is better? I don't know. It's hard.
Right.
But I think
right.
5 is way too young to try to explain mommy cheated on daddy and it really, really hurt him.
Yeah, that would be when they don't even know how relationships work. That could be very difficult. I think it probably depends. There was one time in middle school I was doing a monologue about finding out that I was adopted. And I was like, okay, mom, now's your time to tell me if that's the case. While I'm literally talking about this monologue in class. It's now's your chance. Tell me if I'm adopted or not, and I can get a really good grade on this monologue. So it's things like that,
Okay, so OP replies, I won't lie to her if she asks, but I'm not going to spend any energy on it at this age. 5. Right. We have an update. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I left work today in order to start lining things up. I have a lawyer lined up for this Friday. That is the earliest I could find in my area. It's just a consultation, so I'm not sure what to expect from that one meeting alone. Thanks, everyone, for all your pearls and especially your daggers. I definitely needed some other perspectives. I know it seems unbelievable that I could go this long, but I've been seriously gaslit for years now. I've just been conditioned to it. It's also a character flaw of mine to want to see the best in people. But I'm just so effing scared of the unexpected. God dang it. I just hope she admits to it. Is there any way she can twist this around on me, like an invasion of privacy? We are Washington State, so I can't record me confronting her without her consent. And there's some comments here. Invasion of privacy. You felt your marriage was threatened and you took logical first steps to see if your instincts were based on anything solid, and they were. Don't worry about that. OP says, yeah, I'm over that part. During the confrontation, she actually tried to pull the, what the F are you doing? Spying on me? Having someone follow me? I expected it, so I just stared at her as she went into that mode. And there is a second update.
Just wait for that phase of her anger to be over. That's all I could do. Just let it happen.
Now, I don't advocate for this, but I am going to say it because if you wanted to do a real dastardly move that I've heard you can do, which honestly, again, if it was me, I'd be so distraught at this that I probably would do this. I would call every divorce lawyer in my area, because if you call and have a consultation, free whatever. If you go to them first, then it creates a conflict of interest if your wife were to ever join and use their services. So essentially, if you go to every single divorce lawyer in your area and start something with them, that means that your wife can't go to any of those divorce lawyers.
Whoa, wait, that's crazy.
And again, I don't advocate for that because that's a real scumbag negative thing to do.
Yeah.
However, I think if there wasn't a kid involved, I'd be like, dude, you have to do
Go
that.
for it.
Reading that would have awakened a demon within me. Not even kidding. So, wow. You're better than me, OP. Update number 2 starts with, I met my lawyer this morning and she was great.
Good.
She gave me a lot of confidence that I felt was draining away from me throughout the week as I waited to confront her, my wife. I also had a good friend that was my rock throughout the week, and I will never be able to thank him enough. I ended up confronting my wife right after the meeting with the lawyer. I refused to give up any of my evidence. I just said, I know about the other guy. I need you to talk about it. I just kept repeating that line while she went through crocodile tears and confusion about what I was talking about. It was so effing hard not giving up any of that information, but I knew that I had all the power in that situation. And by the way, you have all the power to go to your podcast platform of choice and look up OK Storytime. Because whether it's Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts, all you have to do is look us up to find the entire catalog of every episode we've ever uploaded. There's a lot of them. Almost 2,500, I think.
Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Go find them. Hunt them down.
Collect them like Pokemon.
We have a little bit more story here.
Mhm.
I think we just finish it off.
Let's do it.
In the end, she never confessed. I basically moved the conversation from there by saying, well, it doesn't matter if you admit to what I already know or not, because the spicy texting that you did last year was enough to destroy any trust I had in you, and I can no longer live like this. From there, she just kind of shut down and became pretty docile. Never brought back up this outrageous thing I was falsely accusing her of. We pretty quickly moved into business-like details about what to do in the short term. Her dad came over and picked her up and gave me a hug and said, just let us know if you need anything. W family. I effing teared up right at that moment. I'm not letting my guard down yet because anything can happen, but I think things may work out for the better for everyone involved. I agree. I cannot thank everyone here on Reddit enough for your thoughts, jabs, pearls of wisdom, and funny comments. You all gave me some serious wake-up calls and support, and I am forever in your debt. And that is the end of that story.
It'll all end up okay.
I believe it will, you know?
Just sucks.
A relationship can't survive that level of emotional carpet bombing, man.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
obliteration of any trust that I ever had for that person. So
Yeah, absolutely. Time and time again. Not even just like a one-time thing.
yeah,
Multiple times.
you let it go multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a consistent theme, constant through your whole relationship, even when you met in college.
Yeah.
Sounds like the family's going to have your back. Very good.
That's great.
That is the end of that story.
My roommate tried to expose her cheating friend. It did not end well.
Oh no.
Backstory, this happened 1 week ago from now. I am currently living abroad in a West European country and come from a northern one. I moved back home in 2 weeks. This is relevant. I currently live with one roommate and we get along great. I have lived with her for 4 months and I think she will be a lifelong friend and I really love her. The thing is, I am scared I might have to put her in danger and then I'm just running away from what I instigated without being able to do much to protect or help her afterwards. By the way, this comes from Kind Vegetable 7236 and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Wednesday, 1 week ago. Me, 29 female, and my roommate, Sophie, 25 female, were sitting chatting one evening when she drops the bomb on me that one of her friends, Turd, 30 male, used to cheat on his ex-girlfriend, Lola, 28 female. Turd and Lola had been together for about 1 year and had broken up amicably some weeks ago. While Turd was dating Lola, she and Sophie had become friends and were now hanging out together. I have also met Lola and she was going to come over for drinks that Friday to our house. After Sophie told me she knew of the cheating, I got a bit mad and asked why she had not either got Turd to tell Lola or told Lola herself. Sophie gave some excuses, but it was none of her business. She was scared Lola would shoot the messenger, and she was also a bit scared about how Turd would react. She has seen him be violent before. Girl,
Oh my God.
what are we doing? I pointed out that they were broken up now, so Lola, knowing, should not make Turd too mad. Plus, she should not be friends with someone who is so violent and unpredictable to the point that she's scared to disagree with them. Just a life lesson. Just a simple life lesson for you. Yeah. we had a healthy discussion where I gave all my moral arguments as to why Lola had at least the right to know. I even suggested having me tell it or send an anonymous message. It ended with Sophie being convinced she should find some way to tell Lola. Enter Matt, 25 male, a guy Sophie has been seeing for 2 to 3 months. He is best friends with Turd. Yikes, Sophie. Maybe not the best choice.
Not that.
And they have been close friends for about 8 years. Sophie feels like the best way to go about this is to convince Matt to convince Turd to tell Lola. Terrible idea.
Why is that no?
Her ex? You want her ex to go back and tell her that he cheated on her after they're broken up?
No.
That way, any retaliation from Turd can be against Matt and not Sophie, because Matt is at least a pretty big dude who can defend himself, and Matt's friendship with Turd is a longer and stronger one. I agree to the plan. Okay.
Why are we doing that?
A bit exhausted after our previous discussion. In hindsight, not the most solid plan, but in my defense, I did not really know these people. So Sophie calls Matt and puts me on speakerphone and makes me give my arguments. I have met Matt and had a good impression. Super friendly guy who treated Sophie really well and had the biggest puppy dog eyes for her. Alas, he is the type to say he has values, but when it comes down to it, has zero backbone to stand up for those values. I shoot my crap and Sophie makes it clear, repeating herself many times that she does not want Turd to know that she wants Lola to know about the cheating because she is scared of what Turd might do. They are on the phone for around 2 hours talking about this. I'm not part of most of the conversation. When finally they hang up, Matt says he agrees that Lola should know and he needs to think about how to go about this. He's apparently had this discussion with Turd many times before. I'm not kidding. 4 minutes after Sophie hangs up with Matt, she gets a phone call from Turd. She puts Turd on speakerphone and he's yelling about how they're not friends anymore. She's a horrible person that wants to kick Lola while she's down, that'll make Sophie's life terrible and destroy her. He hangs up after that. Why are we anywhere near this guy? Why did we get him involved in any way?
Yeah, I don't get why we're bringing more people. The potential Turd violence is what changes this so much.
Yeah, like, dude, like, why did you get him involved at all? Sophie gets a bit scared, but figures that she's the villain to Turd now anyway, and that she still wants Lola to know. Yeah, maybe we should have started with Lola. She has been feeling terrible about this for a while and sees me as some cosmic intervention for her moral compass. So new plan becomes to tell Lola on Friday when she's coming to the house for drinks anyway.
No, tell her beforehand. She should have been the only person told.
Literally. Matt was supposed to join, but Sophie breaks it off with him, seeing it as a red flag that he threw her under the bus so quickly, and also that he's so close friends with somebody who would threaten another friend. Yeah. Also the violence, if you ask me, but whatever. Yeah. Which is what I said. What? Yeah.
Good on Sophie for that one.
Yeah. At least she's got enough sense there. The day ends at 1 and we go to bed. Friday, 1 week ago, 2 days after the phone calls, right before we're supposed to meet Lola for drinks at our house, Sophie gets a text from her. It's long and they went back and forth a bit, but in sum, Turd has called Lola and made up some narrative about how Sophie hates him and wants revenge for something that happened months ago, and that this is why Sophie is telling lies about him. Sophie told me she has no idea what he is talking about regarding this revenge plot and has tried to make Lola clarify what he said. But Lola does not know exactly what it is either. Poor Lola getting dragged back into her ex's drama.
True. This is exactly why you just tell Lola first.
Yeah. Lola thinks Sophie is a terrible friend that wants to kick Lola while she's down after the breakup, and that she believes Turd's story even though she does not know about what the supposed revenge is about. It seems Lola knows somewhat about the cheating, but not the whole story. Sophie tries to reason and call and tell her side, but it's not working. Lola ends the friendship with Sophie. Sophie then also gets a new threatening message from Turd, a bit similar to what he already said. I tell her to screenshot it and send it to me and some other friends for safekeeping before blocking them on all platforms.
Send it to Lola.
Yes.
Send it to Lola.
Luckily, Turd is on a trip to see his family for 2 months. He is from another country and continent, so he can have some time to calm down while he's far away. And that's the end of the story. My thing now is that I feel bad about being the instigator here because I definitely was. I mean, yeah, you did play a role.
You started it, but It's good.
I know I have my own experiences and opinions about cheating that are very strong, and I definitely push Sophie into action, but she chose the worst action possible. She's not mad at me, calling me her cosmic intervention that made her end a friendship with a horrible person, the turd, and saying how Matt was trash that took itself out. She's sad about how it went with Lola, but figures she did what she could, and at least her conscience is clear. I feel bad about leaving the country so soon and not being there for Sophie if Turd turns up again. The contract for the house ends in November, and I have suggested to her to move sooner. However, she said no because she really loves living here. It's a quiet part of the city with lots of families around. At least if there's any trouble and yelling, people will come and intervene. But I can't intervene with you listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, it's definitely not great that he's potentially violent and she left.
Yeah.
I'm like very morally conflicted on this one, to be honest, because I was the watcher of a similar situation without the violence. And like, it's tough because like, obviously everyone wants to stop like a potential cheater, but like, what's the line of like it being your place or not is really tricky.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think because it was after the relationship, I mean,
yeah.
I think she should have said something during the relationship, but you know, that's kind of not what can't go back. But I think if you're going to tell someone about cheating that happened during the relationship and they're no longer in that relationship, maybe don't bring their ex into it.
No, just go straight to the
straight
person.
to your friend. Don't bring her violent ex into it.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
We would have saved a lot of time and harm and potentially Turd not even ever finding out about it.
Probably wouldn't have lost Lola.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have these threats on your, or at least Sophie wouldn't have this. So I also talked about this with another friend, and she said that I was meddling too much and telling Lola was none of our business. She also said planning to tell Lola so soon after the breakup was mean and kicking someone while they were down. The opinion shared by Lola and Turd. But Sophie told me that Lola had been talking about wanting to get back with Turd, which is why it was important to tell her. Would this not help Lola get over him? And I don't give one flying F about boy or girl code here. This is a human thing. Lola has the right to know as a human being about how somebody close to her that she trusted went behind her back and treated her terribly. That somebody she loved clearly did not love her the same, is a liar and lacks empathy. Lola has the right to know. It's her life. My thoughts are strong on the subject, so there might be some aspects I am a bit blind to see here in my quest to go against cheaters. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for instigating this conflict and potentially putting my roommate in danger? Would you want to be told if an ex had cheated on you? Any advice on ways to make sure Sophie is as safe as possible? No, you shouldn't have told her like that. You're not the a-hole for telling Sophie she should tell Lola. But definitely didn't go about it the right way.
Yeah, fully agree.
But folks, that's the end of that story.
I cheated on my girlfriend, but everyone took my side.
Weird flex.
I, male 19, met my girlfriend, female 18, through a mutual club in college. At that time, I definitely did not look or dress the best, and I was starting to work on myself for the first time in my life, through the gym, skincare, and putting myself out there. But I had a long way to go. When I saw her for the first time, I instantly fell in love. I couldn't stop thinking about her and was super excited to get closer to her. However, at the time, she had a boyfriend, and I didn't want to come off as weird or anything, so I kept my distance. And by the way, this comes from user PoorPickler123, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. Still, we became very good friends and eventually hung out all the time. At this time, her relationship with her boyfriend was deteriorating, and we were getting closer and closer. One night when I was tipsy, she asked me if I liked her. Long story short, we ended up hooking up for the first time. It was an exhilarating feeling. I still didn't look that great and hadn't received that kind of attention from a genuinely attractive woman in my whole life. And I was ecstatic. After all, the girl of my dreams had just gotten with me over her own boyfriend. I felt like a king. And we got along great.
Like I could really see this girl as one I married. We did everything together, liked the same stuff, and she was genuinely very beautiful. Everything I had thought I wanted in a woman she had. I was completely in love. But as time went on, her mental health spiraled. She still refused to break up with her boyfriend, giving him chances over and over again. This made me frustrated because we also were hooking up multiple times.
Suck. You both suck.
Everybody sucks in this story.
Both of you suck so bad. It makes sense why you're together.
I really wanted her to break up with him so I could be in a relationship with her. Eventually, she did break up with him and said that she really liked me but couldn't do a relationship. Being naive and oblivious, I was totally okay with that. In my head, people always said that, but it would only be a matter of time before she would come around and we'd start dating. Except I was wrong. I grew up in a pretty traditional household with pretty traditional friends, so the concept of claiming to like someone while sleeping around with others was completely foreign to me. It didn't make sense to me. Why would someone say they like you and hook up with other people? So when it happened the first time, I was devastated. It was at a party that I myself was at. I asked her if she wanted to go home, but she said no. When I asked her why, she looked me in the eyes and said that she was going to be busy tonight. I couldn't believe it. When I asked more, she nearly laughed it off. Needless to say, I was absolutely crushed. I hid it from everyone, and she ended up going back home with a guy she had met that night and hooked up with him. The next morning, I threw up a few times. I really thought that I would be in a relationship with her, but I guess not. I talked to her because we were in a mutual friend group, and after we talked, I realized that she had no obligation to only talk to me, so she was free to do what she wanted. Anyways, knowing that didn't change that it hurt like crazy. Then, 2 days after that, I asked her to have lunch with me. She said yes. Then we were sitting next to each other in the library. When I looked over at her computer, I saw her texting a guy asking if he had showered and if his apartment was free. Then she got up and said that she had a commitment and left, skipping our lunch. Turns out she hooked up with that guy. She didn't text me for a few hours. Brother,
Just to be clear, what is the relationship status?
their relationship status is nothing.
Exactly. Nothing. She said, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Dude, you have literally no say here.
I went to the gym and hit the boxing bags with my bare knuckles. It hurt physically because I felt I deserved it. Why was I letting a woman like this control me? After 7 hours, she contacted me again asking me to come over, and I did. We ended up hooking up. And then I sat and talked with her for a few hours. When she went to the bathroom, her phone was open, and I realized within the span of those 7 hours, she had also hooked up with that guy from the party. I left without saying a word, and she called me a few times, but I didn't pick up. The next morning, I asked to come over to get my stuff and was planning on ending it for good. When I got there, she was crying and zooted out of her mind. She said she was struggling with substance use and her mental health, and that she had been struggling earlier that day. I came closer to her to check her wrists and bandage her arms and took her to the hospital. As I was sitting in the hospital, I noticed marks on her neck, and I hadn't seen those earlier. I assumed it was some form of struggling and sat in the hospital for 5 hours waiting to see what would happen. Eventually, we ended up coming back home, and she started crying again. Apparently, after I had left, she had called her ex and hooked up with him again. I couldn't believe it. I used to truly love this girl. No, you didn't.
This guy.
No,
I
you.
hate
But no,
this
you.
guy.
No, you didn't. Though you
You're
really
just
didn't.
obsessed with the idea of her.
It meant the whole world to me that she had liked me, but the fact that she was so easily getting close to these people broke me inside. I was about to leave when she made me wait and promised that she would be exclusive with me from now on, and that she really needed me in her life because she was scared she might not handle things well. Again, this is the first time I liked a girl like this. Even though she had caused me so much pain, I decided to try and believe in her and help her get better. No matter the cost. She also began having lung problems at this time. Every other week, I would take her to the hospital and sit there while she was getting checkups. When I would hang out with my friends and she would ask me to come back because she was scared for her mental health, I came back. Mostly out of caring, but also because I didn't want her to hook up with anyone else if I wasn't there immediately. It was an absolutely awful situation.
Yeah.
My grades dropped, my social life was falling apart, and I was solely living to help her get back on her feet. Every day after class, I'd come home and check on her, making sure she hadn't done anything drastic or just sat with her and made her feel needed. Most of her friends at this point had abandoned her, so it was just me and her and 2 of her very close friends. This went on for a month, until one day she told me that she couldn't be with me anymore because she felt bad that I was doing so much and she wasn't giving anything in return, and that she needed to heal on her own. I desperately tried to explain to her that I could be a part of that. We didn't need to end things. She said she needed space and to be independent, and that after a few months, we could try again. I was shattered. I asked her for one promise, and that was to keep to her word and really work on herself and not be with random people like that again, and to stop misusing certain things. When she agreed, I left, and we stopped sharing locations and just tried to exist as friends. I could barely eat or do anything without crying. It was genuinely awful. You guys just both need help. You guys both
you're
need
so
counselors.
codependent.
You're the first time genuinely attractive girl, which is already a crazy
So weird.
sentence,
Yeah, what does that mean?
is into you, and you're like, I'm gonna give my whole life to this other person.
I
is
can't
absurd.
pick anyone else.
We still talked here and there, but now as friends, and I felt as if I had thrown away that previous semester of helping her for nothing. I went to a party that weekend and nearly had a panic attack on the porch. Zooted, out of my mind, and completely intoxicated, I called her and texted her several times for help because I had no one to go to anymore about it, but got nothing back. If it wasn't for another girl, what a bright idea that is, I suspect I would have felt really lost that night. A day later, she was driving me back home from the library. She told me she needed to tell me something. That night, when I had called her, she wasn't thinking clearly and ended up getting close to someone she had just met on Tinder. I couldn't believe it. Are you sure? It sounds like she just wants to have casual things with other people that aren't you, and then that's fine. That's okay. You're both teenagers.
As one big anime character says, believe it.
I wanted to stop talking to her and yell at her, but I couldn't. I went to my apartment and cried for hours, wondering where everything had gone wrong. I had given up so much for her, and in 2 days, she had already been with someone else she barely knew. Then she called me, and like a complete idiot, I responded and talked to her. She said that she had gotten her diagnosis back earlier that morning and that she was going through a tough time with her feelings, which sometimes caused her to act in ways that weren't good for her. She said she'd enroll into a mental health institution and begged me for another chance. I ended the call and sat there, not knowing what to do. For 4 days, she came to my apartment in the morning, cooked breakfast, and talked to me. And because deep down I still loved her, I talked back. She started doing things she never did before and promised me that she would do absolutely everything in her power to make me comfortable with her again. She showered me with compliments, bought me things, and she was very open about people who were trying to talk to her or get close to her. As time went on, I became more and more convinced that I could eventually forget all the horrible things she did and take her back. Months passed, and I finally felt ready. And we got back into a relationship. Things seemed great. People didn't know of the things she had done because I hadn't told anyone. They saw us as that couple. As for me, my style got better, I looked much better, and I got into very good shape. I had a tremendous glow up with her. People would come up and say how proud of me they were for how far I'd gotten, especially compared to before. And for a bit, I bought into it. This was what I had dreamed of with her. People loved us as a couple, and she finally loved me. She truly, at that point, was the perfect girlfriend. I could not have asked for more. But the scars from the past still hurt. Anytime I heard the word hook up with or saw it written out, I would get flashbacks to the text messages I had read that night between her and the random guys. So you need to break up with her. You need to not be dating her. You need to not be dating, period. Every time I saw one of them in public, I felt deeply humiliated and ashamed. I tried to fight it for years, but it always stuck deep down. The woman I loved had spent time being close with these other guys on a whim, all while claiming that she had loved me. Obviously, I am aware that, completely ethically speaking, she technically hadn't done anything wrong, but still, I would wake up at night with full-blown panic attacks, not being able to breathe, and throwing up. It was an absolutely disgusting feeling, and I couldn't shake it off. But still, I put my heart and soul into that relationship as much as I could. I planned and paid for our dates, got her many gifts throughout the relationship, and most importantly, spent time with her whenever I could. In fact, I ended up practically moving in with her at one point. To the rest of the world, we were the couple that would make it past college. And I truly believed that, too. Months went by until I decided to study abroad for the summer. I was excited, but also a little nervous. My girlfriend was also a little nervous, but I believed it was because of the long distance. I ended up going abroad, and suddenly things got weird. I was never met with the same enthusiasm over text. The calls weren't as frequent, and she never complimented me anymore or tried to make me feel good. I would do it constantly, but even when I asked, I would be met with laughter and that I was being too dramatic. I started getting in my head again. What if she started seeing someone else? What if she didn't love me anymore? And so, I kept trying over text and call. Meanwhile, at study abroad, I mentioned I had a pretty good physique. This one girl began to openly show interest to me, and regrettably, I didn't stop her. We talked a lot, and it felt really good to talk to someone who felt like they really cared about me. We talked more and more, and my girlfriend got even more distant. I assumed that once we got back, things would figure themselves out. One day I posted my physique on my social medias because I was proud of how I looked for the past few months. The girl from the study abroad sent me a picture replying to it and said, "Open this when you're alone." I faced a moral dilemma that I now feel was God testing me. Should I open it or not? Eventually I gave in, and literally as soon as I opened it, I got a call from my girlfriend. She was breaking up with me. I couldn't believe it.
God said you passed. God said you
Wow.
passed.
I guess in a way God was testing you, and you passed?
And failed at the same time. I don't know how you do it.
By the way, you can be smited with whole plethora of full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast app, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. I was so heartbroken and was devastated. Yes, I made a small mistake, but the reason she was breaking up was not even because she found out. It was because of the long distance. I was shocked. All of our friends and everything, all the dreams that we had made, all the suffering I had put myself through to make things work, it was all for absolutely nothing. At the end, she ultimately gave up on me. I argued for a bit, but ultimately, I saw it from her eyes. She was done, and I had just lost my multi-year relationship. Once our mutual friends heard, they all stopped talking to her. I never told them anything about the above, about what she put me through, or about you cheating on her, but it was well known by everyone around us that I was a good boyfriend to her and that I had really cared about her. All of them viewed her as callous and ungrateful, and that she didn't put in the same effort that I had to save this relationship. She ended up having no friends and left the school more alone than when she came. To this day, no one knows about the study abroad girl, even my ex-girlfriend. And that's the end of that story.
You mean the internet? You mean the internet?
We all know.
We all
know that you freaking are a cheater and you suck.
My husband accused me of cheating and claims that our son isn't his.
Well, good news, there's a test for that, Buster.
I, female 34, have been married to my husband, male 36, for almost 17 years, and we've been together for almost 20. We have 2 kids, and our relationship has always been strong. It was rocky when we were younger as we navigated becoming adults while raising a baby, but we never had issues with cheating that I was aware of. Recently, he told me that he wanted more kids, which I already knew, but I was waiting for the right time. By the way, this comes from FunSpring6597, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're only going to guess what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do in the comments down below. OP says, we have been doing great. Spicy sleep is great, and we generally have fun together as a couple. I was recently accepted into medical school. Although it wasn't the school we wanted, it's only a couple of hours away. He has always been supportive on this journey. We talked about how I would have to stop working to take full-time courses, and I was the one with the higher income. Oh boy. We made it work, and he was supportive and encouraging. As a dad, he's amazing. He's loving, attends their school events, and is attentive. But since I was pregnant with my son, who's about to turn 12, I always noticed he was slightly more distant and colder towards him. Still, he generally treats them the same. My son was hospitalized about 2 years ago, and I saw how much he meant to him. He was there all 7 days with him and me, never leaving. We were in a really good place this week. We went to see my new school, hung out, and took my son to an amusement park on Saturday. My daughter had gone out with friends. They had a great time together since I couldn't go on many rides with them. That night, we were watching TV and talking about how when my daughter was young, we had gone to a concert. Then the conversation shifted to who else I had been with spicily, and I said no one ever. He insisted that I had been with someone else. He started saying how one time when we had our first place, I came home smelling like spicy sleep. He asked me about it, and I said it was nothing, and he was tripping. He said he was like, okay, sure, fine. I don't remember this at all, but I know for a fact that I've never been with anyone before him or while I've been with him. Nothing. I kept denying it. He then asked, did you ever sleep with Dan? He was talking about someone who was one of his friends growing up that I knew. I was shocked and then taken by surprise. He went off and said how Dan had spent a few days at our place, and he thinks, based on some things he saw, that we had spicy sleep.
This is like the biggest like red flag, like this guy clearly cheated on you with like a bunch of people or something.
Yes.
Because you just don't act this way if
Yeah.
you aren't like actually just like super guilty on the inside.
Right.
And you're just like trying to put it on your partner. You're like, no,
Yeah.
it's actually, but you did it too, right? You
Yeah.
did it.
He said that this was around the same time I became pregnant with my son, and he's always thought that it was Dan's kid. I was shocked. I never would have thought that he suspected I had anything to do with someone else, let alone that friend I didn't even remember existed. My son loves an ocean animal that happens to be the same nickname that Dan went by, so my husband said, yeah, and you also buy him shirts and toys about that animal? And I was like, what? He likes that animal. I didn't even think about this. My husband was calm the whole time. I've seen him mad, and I know how he acts, but he wasn't mad, just serious. He said he wasn't reproaching anything, but wanted to know the truth. I was crying the whole time because I felt like I was in trouble for something I didn't do. I told him I wouldn't accept something I didn't do because I didn't do it. Then I said that I was going to do a paternity test on my son because I don't want him to have the slightest doubt. He said no, but I said I would because I don't want this in his mind. After, I said, I don't know where we go from here. And he said, everything stays the same.
Hey, you're not the one who gets to decide that unilaterally, buddy.
Yeah, but I was confused. What do you mean the same? I asked him if everything we've lived these years was real or if it was just a face that he was putting up. He was surprised I asked and asked me what I felt it was. Honestly, I don't think it's fake. I think what we have is real, but I don't know how he can bring this up and everything can be the same. I asked him if he had ever done anything with anyone else in revenge, and he said no. He's a really bad liar, so I can usually tell when he's not being truthful, but he seemed honest. His work schedule is very typical. He's home every day at the same time. At the end of the night, he hugged, kissed me, and said, regardless of what it was, you are my woman, my wife. And I said, no. It's not regardless, because I didn't do anything. And that night, he still cuddled with me and hugged me like he normally does. Yesterday, I told him we needed to talk and clarify this because I don't want him to resent me for something I didn't do. My fear is that he holds that against me and then does something and says I can't say anything because I already did something. I told him this. I said that I can't live with this doubt about worrying that he's going to cheat. Then he said he's been living with this doubt. I told him I don't want him to hate me and I don't want to throw this away for something that didn't happen. I said if it were true, then I would accept it, apologize, and go from there, but that's not the case. I said I wanted him to believe me and he said the reasons he had were evidence to him. He also said, but if you said no, then okay. That is all the doubts I had. He then hugged me tight and said that even if I had said I did do something, he wouldn't have left me. The rest of the day, he was more serious, but still trying to talk and still being affectionate. I asked him why. Why, if that's what he thinks happened, didn't he leave me? If he's so sure, how is it possible he didn't cheat on me? I had a messed up upbringing and he knows that. He knows I need him to hug me, kiss me, look for me, and he knows that I can't feel rejected. That unalives me. I ordered the paternity test. It arrives today, and I'll send it out so he can see. But it makes me feel really sad that he thinks that I betrayed him because I didn't do it. I know how much it would unalive me to feel he would have done something like that. What do I make of all of this? I'm so confused. I don't even have anyone to talk to about this. My husband is very non-confrontational. He rarely gets really upset, and if he does, he just stays quiet. I know he keeps emotions in. He did say he just needed to get this out, so I don't know if it was something he was holding on to and just now decided to let it out because he felt that our relationship was the most stable it's been. The conversation didn't come completely out of nowhere. We were watching TV and reminiscing about a concert we went to when our daughter was younger. My husband then asked if I had ever gone to a concert at the same park with a friend of mine who used to drive a Mustang, who I had already told my husband about way back when we got married. This friend was in love with me, so I stopped talking to him. I said no, and then he suddenly shifted the conversation and asked if I had ever slept with anyone else, eventually asking about Dan specifically.
Again, we're back on this again? We're back on this again? Come on.
For context, when I was about 14, I was dating my husband online. What? We hadn't even met in person. During that time, his friend told me a bunch of lies about him, and I briefly stopped talking to my now husband and dated his friend for like a week just to piss him off. We went to a birthday party and saw him one day. The most that ever happened was a kiss. Then I realized that his friend was lying, stopped talking to him, and eventually got back with my husband. We then met in person, and things went from there. My husband already knew this since it happened. During our conversation the other night, my husband said that he saw how I used to drool over Dan back then, which wasn't true, and that his suspicions started when Dan briefly stayed with us before I was pregnant. He said there were two specific things that made him doubt. One time, I came home smelling like spicy sleep, which I don't remember at all. Another time, he stepped out to take the trash, and when he came back, I was running into our room to change from shorts to pants while his friend was in the kitchen adjusting his pants and doing the dishes. Since Dan had just recently gotten out of jail, he was in need of spicy sleep. Lastly, he said he saw me as someone who flirts. He brought up a work Christmas party years ago where we greeted a guy who hugged me when saying hi to me and my friend. Later that night, he saw that guy dancing and spanking my friend. Years later, we found out that this friend actually cheated on her husband, so he was like, what's not to say you also slept with him?
I don't know, because I'm not her. I don't know. Are you confused on who your wife is? Did you think you were married to the woman who cheated on her husband? Because that's not who you were married. You were married to me.
The paternity test kit arrived, but when I handed it to him, my husband declined. He said he doesn't need it, that bringing it up was more about finally voicing something that he had kept in for too long.
He's like, no, I don't want solutions. I just want to complain like a little baby. And make it your fault.
I truly believe this doubt may have stemmed from something Dan said years ago to one of our mutual friends. Dan has a history of dishonesty and manipulation, so it wouldn't surprise me if a careless comment planted a seed that grew over time. Then, with what he thinks he saw, he put it all together in his mind. But that doesn't excuse the pain. This post, like anything online, only shows a fraction of the full story. Real relationships, especially long-term ones, are not all black and white. While this moment has been incredibly difficult, there's also been so much love, growth, and support in our life together, especially for our kids. It's impossible to label someone as good or bad based on one chapter. I've said before that I noticed a difference in my husband's relationship with my son, and I want to clarify. It wasn't neglect or distance, but more of that subtle tension that can happen when a dad feels left out when his son grows very close to their mom. It wasn't harmful, but looking back, I can see how important it is that they continue strengthening their bond. He said he wants to repair this, and so do I. But no, things are not back to normal. They won't be until we've worked through this in counseling and had the hard, honest conversations. Therapy is now a priority for us, not just for our relationship, but for the well-being of our family. We both agree that we owe it to each other and our kids to try and fix it before walking away from something we've built together. To those who asked, yes, I've always had a very close and loving relationship with my in-laws. Still, this is something only he and I can work through. And something that only you can do is listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. We're on it. Just search OK Storytime. But we have a little bit more to the story. And yes, for those wondering, I'm still going to medical school. There's no way in heck I won't go after all the hard work I've done to get there. I didn't make it this far to just make it this far. Nothing changes that. Whether he's beside me or not, I'll walk this path. I love my family, but I love my kids enough to protect our peace and grow through whatever we need to. I'm also self-aware enough to admit that I struggle with insecurity. I check in often, track locations, and yes, I need a lot of reassurance in relationships. So while I know anything is technically possible, I've never seen a sign of cheating. I'm not naive, but I know myself. I'm not someone who's easy to lie to, and I've always trusted my instincts.
Dude, you know what's
That's the end of that
crazy?
story.
Is I swear to God, it's like 90% of the people who say that are the easiest people to lie to on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's because they have that,
They're, like,
they
showing
already
you their
hold
weapons.
the notion that they're like, oh, I can always tell when someone's lying.
Yeah.
So then the people that lie to you get away with it all the time because you don't know they're lying to you.
Yeah.
But in your heart, you're like, oh, well, I would have been able to tell.
Yeah.
I secretly had feelings for my wife's cousin, and now she wants me too.
Ooh, looks like you got a crush.
I, 30 male, have been married to my wife, 29 female, for 4 years. No kids yet, but our life together is solid. She's everything you'd want in a partner. Kind, supportive, funny, and genuinely good-hearted. I love her deeply and wouldn't trade our life for anything. By the way, this comes from user Silver Scallion 5385, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily. But we don't always have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you do something different, let us know in the comments. We share the same values. Love spending lazy Sundays binge-watching nature documentaries, and she has this effortless way of making me laugh when I'm having the worst day. She's stunningly beautiful and my best friend. I've always felt like we were meant to find each other.
Aw.
But there's this thing I've been carrying with me since the very beginning. 6 years ago, I met my wife at a planetarium. We ended up chatting after the show, and I was immediately drawn to her. She gave me her number, and I walked out that night feeling like I'd just met someone special. Here's the cherry on top. Her cousin, 30 female, picked her up after the show. My wife introduced us briefly as she got in the car. I only saw her cousin for maybe 30 seconds, but something about her just stayed with me. When I saw her cousin again at a family gathering months later, it all clicked. She had this magnetic energy, confident, sharp, and a little mysterious. We made small talk, and it turns out we had a lot in common. That was the first time I felt the twinge of what if. Since then, I've only seen her at family events. It's always been perfectly normal and cordial, never inappropriate, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about her more than I should. There's always been this nagging thought in the back of my mind, wondering how different things might have been if I'd met her cousin first. Now, here's where things take a turn. Her cousin has recently fallen on hard times. Job loss, personal struggles, trying to get back on her feet. My wife, being the generous person she is, suggested we open our home to her cousin for a few months while she sorts things out. I haven't said yes or no yet. I've played it cool and supportive because objectively, it's reasonable and compassionate. But internally, I'm freaking out. So I'm terrified of what this might stir up. I know I love my wife and have no intention of jeopardizing our marriage, but the idea of living under the same roof as her cousin, being around her every day, is making me confront feelings I've spent years trying to bury. I don't know what to do. Do I just suck it up and deal with it? Do I bring this up to my wife and suggest maybe it's not the best idea? Do I need therapy? I hate myself for even being in this situation. My wife doesn't deserve this. She's amazing and I don't want to let her down, but this whole thing is starting to feel like a ticking time bomb. Is there any harmless way to approach this conversation? And there's an update. My wife's cousin moved in and things got complicated.
No, wow, didn't see that one coming. Who made it complicated?
What? Do you know who made it complicated?
Oh my gosh, Dora's back? I love Dora.
Correct.
Wait, who was it?
The husband.
Oh.
OP.
I would have never guessed that one.
Aww.
I wasn't expecting to update this, but a lot has happened since my first post. First, thank you to everyone who commented. The overwhelming sentiment was that I needed therapy, not a conversation with my wife about these feelings, and I took that to heart. I started seeing a therapist a couple of weeks after posting. Every session unearths new layers of guilt, shame, and confusion about my feelings. I've begun to realize that my attraction to her cousin was never just about her. It's tied to insecurities, unfulfilled fantasies, and struggles with commitment. As for the living situation, I caved. My wife was so earnest about wanting to help her cousin, and I couldn't bring myself to say no without raising questions I wasn't ready to answer. So her cousin moved in about 6 weeks ago. At first, everything was fine. Her cousin was polite, grateful, and kept mostly to herself. I started thinking maybe I had overthought everything, but beneath the surface, I could feel constant tension. I found myself hyper aware of her presence, her footsteps in the hallway, the sound of her voice. I hated how attuned I was to her movements, yet I couldn't turn it off. The first couple of weeks were deceptively smooth. I focused on maintaining boundaries and keeping interactions brief, but even then I felt like I was walking a tightrope. Then a few nights ago, everything changed. It was a Friday, and my wife had gone out with friends from work. Her cousin and I were both home, and she cracked open a bottle of wine after dinner. I wasn't drinking. I've been trying to be mindful of boundaries, but she seemed intent on loosening up. We ended up chatting in the living room, and for the first time since she moved in, the conversation veered into personal territory. She talked about how difficult things had been for her, losing her job, ending a long-term relationship, feeling adrift. I listened and offered encouragement, but then she said something that made my stomach drop. Quote, "I just wish I had your wife's life." I tried to brush it off as a general comment, but she kept going. She said she envied everything about her cousin, her stability, her marriage, even the way people gravitated towards her. And then she looked me straight in the eye and said, "She's so lucky to have you. I wish I'd been that lucky." That moment hit me like a freight train. Her words hung in the air, heavy with implication. I felt a flood of emotions, discomfort, guilt, panic, and a terrible fleeting sense of validation. I hated myself for that last part. I froze. Before I could respond, she backtracked, mumbling something about having too much to drink. She excused herself and went to her room, leaving me sitting there in stunned silence.
No, she's going to do the How I Met Your Mother thing.
She acted like nothing had happened. She was cheerful and chipper, chatting with my wife at breakfast as if the conversation had been wiped from her memory. I couldn't shake it. Every interaction with her cousin now feels charged, even though nothing inappropriate has happened. I'm hyper aware of everything, her tone, her body language, even the way she looks at me. I've started avoiding being alone with her, but with her living here, it's impossible to create total distance. Earlier today, she brought it up again out of nowhere that she wishes she had my wife's life. It put me at my wit's end. At this point, I don't know what to do. Therapy is helping me process my own feelings, but the external circumstances are growing more complicated. Part of me thinks I need to insist on an exit plan for her cousin, but that would raise questions with my wife that I'm not ready to answer. Update 2. I asked her what she meant. Then my wife came home. After reading through your comments, I decided to speak to her cousin directly and ask what she meant. I realize some of you think I'm leaning towards cheating or have poor self-control, but you're wrong. I would never cheat on my wife. Not out of obligation, but out of love, respect, and self-control. The hesitation was because I wanted to tell my wife everything without hurting her or damaging her relationship with her cousin based on the one-sided feelings. Things were awkward between us since her comment earlier. I couldn't shake it, so I decided to ask her. No build-up, no sidestepping. I just said, "What did you mean by what you said earlier?" At first, she laughed it off and blamed the wine and stress, but I pushed. I told her it didn't feel casual to me and that I'd been carrying the weight of it all evening, and I needed her to be honest. She got quiet and admitted it. She said she's attracted to me, not just in a passing way, but emotionally and physically. It started with admiring the way I treat my wife and the kind of marriage we have, but over time, those feelings grew into something else. She swore she never meant to say it out loud and that she's been trying to bury it, but being around me every day was making it harder to pretend. I was stunned. I stepped outside for a bit, read through more of your comments, and came to a clear conclusion. I couldn't keep this from my wife. There we go, buddy.
Freaking finally, dude.
We got there.
Finally.
When my wife got home about 2 hours later, I asked both of them to sit down and told her that I confronted her cousin, what she admitted, and how it made me feel. The silence was deafening. My wife asked her cousin flat out if it was true, and she didn't deny it. And that's when it turned into a full confrontation. No yelling, but you could feel the emotion. Her cousin even suggested that my wife doesn't fully appreciate what we have, which led to a heated back and forth. I stayed silent through it all because honestly I didn't want to be there. After some discussion, my wife asked her cousin to give us space, so she left the room, and my wife walked upstairs. I went up and decided to tell her the full truth, including how I felt, the fact that I've been going to therapy, everything. She was devastated. She even looked disgusted and defeated and said she didn't want to continue the conversation then. I decided to pull an all-nighter in my car. Her cousin has texted me since asking to speak, but I've ignored her messages. I couldn't stand feeling like I was holding this emotional secret from my wife. I did exactly what most of you and my therapist suggested I not do, but I feel so free now. Your therapist suggested you not to do that? I feel like you had to have been lying to him in some capacity. Update 3. I spoke to my wife and discussed everything. Good morning, Reddit. After my last post, I sat in the car for a few hours before returning to my room. My wife was asleep. She was supposed to be in early at work today, but took a wellness day, and I called in a family emergency. We sat down, and she started by saying she appreciated that I had the integrity to tell her the entire truth when staying quiet would have been easier. Her issue is that she felt like I should have told her before she extended the invite to her cousin. We've had a similar situation in the past with a coworker of hers who seemed to be making moves, but we navigated that much smoother. She ended up shutting it down and transferring departments. She said she gets that this situation is more complicated because it's closer to home, but she would have still appreciated the honest truth before we got to this point. She was angry and hurt when I dropped 2 nukes on her last night, but appreciated that I brought it up with both of them there so she could ask questions without interjection. I explained that I really didn't mean to hurt her or drag this out. We had a bit of a cry and held each other while I told her I felt like I betrayed her trust by being indecisive. She reassured me that she understood why I did what I did and didn't expect me to move differently. Apparently, after I went back to the room last night, her cousin left and booked a stay at a cheap motel for a few nights, leaving a note on the bedroom door. My wife still wants to continue the status quo so her cousin can catch herself properly, but I insisted that while I understand her intentions, boundaries were crossed, and I don't want her around the house much longer. She was a little annoyed, but agreed. I would be annoyed too, because I'd be like, I thought we just worked through all this. Now you're saying she can't be here?
Right.
You just told me the truth, and now it's all out in the open and it's fine. We'll work through it. But you're like, no, we can't. Both my wife and I grew up in extended families, so our cousins are like siblings. She believes in forgiving mistakes, but I feel like she's being too naive with her forgiveness. I love this woman and her optimistic outlook, but I feel like she's allowing the disrespect to pass without addressing it properly. By the way, you'd never disrespect us by listening to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. This morning, I decided to call her father briefly and explain the situation. He told me not to stress it and that even though I should have had better timing, honesty was the best policy. We both come from single-parent households that broke due to cheating and subsequent lies, so it's always been my motto to lead with the truth even if it sucks. I failed my wife and my family by taking so long to speak about this. My wife and I are okay now, and she messaged her cousin wanting to talk. That conversation is supposed to take place tomorrow, and that is the end of that story.
I finally dumped my boyfriend after he made me feel like his caretaker.
You're not his mom. Trigger warning in this story, there's mention of SA.
I, 23 female, and my partner, 28 male, have had a very few issues up until last 2-ish months. We're doing extremely long distance. We have met in real life. He used to go to my high school. We've been dating for 18 months now and have recently been talking about end goals. By the way, this comes from Antisocial System, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice skillfully. We don't have all the answers.
Not always.
Not always, but we're gonna try. We're gonna guess what we would do in these situations, but if you would do anything different, let us know down below. He's currently living in the northwest of America and has residency, having recently moved in with his elderly parents. I'm living in Australia. We've spoken about where we want to possibly move together, but he's refusing to move or put any energy towards our end goal. I'm the only one employed, working part-time while debating on studying paramedicine. He's unemployed after being injured while working construction, where his old company never reported the incident, and he didn't either, meaning he was let go and is getting no compensation or financial aid.
Oh, that's a
Yikes.
tough spot, dude. I mean, you'd hope you have the wherewithal to at least report that, but construction can get dicey.
Is it the reason that he didn't report it?
No, it's like sometimes it's like if you do end up doing that kind of stuff, it's like you'll never get another construction job in the area again because you're like the guy who
Got
reported
hurt.
the company. It's like they,
Oh,
they
I
can
see.
run tight,
And now
it's
the
not
opposite
right,
is happening.
but it can happen.
I had to fill out most of the paperwork for him to apply for both the work incident and for him to also have a disability pension. I hounded him to submit it, which he told me that he had sent in, only to find out a month and a half later that he never sent it in. He also is complaining that it's taking too long for me to move to the US, but I think it's unfair that he expects me to pay for this all by myself. The flight, visa, passport, and my own accommodation. I was looking into a 90-day visa to have a court wedding. Then he'd sponsor me, but even then, his parents don't want me moving in, even if I marry him. He's also refusing to ever move out of his parents' home. He's always lived with them. I find it exhausting. He's always micromanaging my finances. We have zero shared assets or accounts. Complaining how I bought a new keyboard for my 10-year-old laptop when I moved since my old one broke. The keyboard was $50 to $60 AUD, which is $30 to $40 USD. I've seen his finances. He's a few $1,000s in debt, which I would inherit if we marry. He spends a few $100s a month on DoorDash, Uber Eats, and takeout, while complaining when I eat fast food. He's not wanting to work, refusing to even apply for jobs where he could work at home, and he expects me to be the breadwinner, have kids, and to be the sole caretaker while he works on building his Twitch, even though he never streams or records and seems not committed at all. Would I be the knucklehead if I break up with him?
No.
Should I try to work this out?
No.
Am I overreacting?
No.
I really need advice on what I should do from here. And we do have a half update, it looks.
I honestly believe that in the next like 10 years, 20 years, it's like that's probably building your Twitch or whatever is probably going to be one of the most valuable assets you can have.
Sure.
Because it's like, I don't even know. It's hard to, I don't have enough time to even like roadmap like where I see like entertainment and media like going in the next like couple decades.
Yeah.
But like it could be valuable if and get a job, but build your Twitch, get a job,
Yeah.
but build your stream, whatever.
Sure.
But he's not even doing it.
Yeah.
He's
And
not even doing it.
if you guys like are expecting to have kids and like live together and stuff like that while all he's doing is building his Twitch, it's like, no, dude, that needs to be a side thing. Sure, you can commit to it and like have your time for it, but you gotta do something for
Right.
it. You can't be doing nothing.
Right. It's you.
And it
You
sounds like you
can't
would be.
just do that and be like, yes, move to this country and do everything for me while I play video games all day. But I don't even do that.
Yeah, Maybear604 says, don't be with the guy. What a loser. Run.
And the thing about streaming
Yeah.
is it's like you don't like we don't play video games all day. This is a stream. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
anyway. That's a whole other. I could talk about that for 3 hours.
So we have a update 1/? I wanted to thank those who commented and DM'd me, giving me insight. I didn't realize how much of a people pleaser I was, but I'll work on that. Anyway, on to the update. My family are all going away for a week, and I've spoken to them, even shown this post to them, and they've all said that they can tell that I'm stressing over it. They asked me to wait until they come back, not wanting me to be alone in a dark headspace if things go south. I still need to figure out what the heck I'm going to say to him, but I'm 90% sure that I'm done. I'll update more once I end things, depending on how that goes. I am also open to any advice for how to go about breaking things off with him, if anyone has ideas or suggestions. I kind of overthink things a lot, and I've felt sick to my stomach at the thought of doing this. So, Wednesday night, I got home from working a night shift and had asked my partner to talk on the phone. Let's call him Jake. Jake answered, and it was about 5 to 6 a.m. for him. I was running on no sleep, 3 energy drinks, and enough caffeine and anxiety to fuel a small car when we called. I explained how I felt. Basically, I started it off by saying that I felt like I was the only one putting energy into the relationship, how he had shrugged me off for almost 2 months, and how it felt unfair that he was micromanaging my finances, my appearance, and my hours at work. He seemed to prioritize video games over me. He was on the call for almost 2 hours with 50 minutes, not an exaggeration, I actually timed it, of silence where he sat saying nothing. I left the call and he had texted saying, "We'll talk in the morning." When we spoke, Jake broke down crying, begging for another chance, saying he didn't realize how badly he had neglected me and how much he needed me. He said he'd change. He wrote up a timeline for things, disability pension applications, attempting to find part-time work, prioritizing his health, fixing his car, and supposedly trying to save to move out of his parents' house.
Don't fall for that. That desire to change needs to come from within.
It's too much change to happen naturally and this fast.
Yeah, you just go, hey, I wish you luck with all those changes you want to make. I hope whoever you end up with can enjoy the person that you become.
Exactly. Because he's just going to go back to his old ways. That's what's going to happen.
Yerp.
He begged for another 3 months. I didn't answer right away and eventually asked if I could think things through. Spoke to my family and some close friends asking if I should leave and how to handle the situation. I called a shared friend, Chris, 24 male, who we both met online and ended up having a 6-hour call with him. Chris is super chill and the two had a bromance, it seemed. Chris is very sweet on me, introducing me as his sister, saying that he wants to walk me down the aisle, full hype man for our relationship. We've known him about 2 years, so before we started dating. Chris said that he could tell that I wasn't happy anymore and had heard a few things from other friends about how Jake was talking about people behind their backs but never mentioned names. I confessed that I had heard similar stories and even had some confirmed. An online friend of ours had a screen capture video of Jake bad-mouthing Chris, which I shared after Chris begged for it. Chris said that he had felt things were off. He's known to vanish offline for weeks or months before coming back. He thought Jake blamed him for an incident that happened this past New Year's. I started drinking a lot, got spiked by a guy friend who threw me in his car. Jake ghosted me for a week the day after it happened when I told him. It wasn't until I sent him proof of my talks screen, police meetings, and the restraining order, and everything that he believed I didn't willingly cheat on him. Oh my god, that is an insane red flag. Insane.
Yeah, put this guy in the sun where he belongs. He needs to be making freaking helium ions or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Get him out of here.
Ooh. Chris heard from Jake, came back, and called me sobbing and apologizing, thinking that it was his fault. Either way, I had a lengthy conversation with Jake, and I said my heart isn't in this anymore. I explained how I was forcing myself to stay, and how my mind and heart were set when he started crying. By the way, I would cry if you didn't listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. And then search OK Storytime. He said he'd leave it to me to take down the social media statuses and posts. He asked if we could revisit the conversation after about 6 months. He hopes he'll have income by then, and I should be finished with a small course I need to take before I can apply to my state's paramedicine program. I honestly haven't cried. I feel like a giant weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I haven't blocked him, but I've deleted all the signs of us having been together from my social media accounts.
You should, and you cried all, it should be tears of joy, because your life would have been so much worse if you had ended up staying with this guy and getting married and doing the terrible.
All of that stuff. Yeah. My wife left me after she realized she's into girls.
Well, what else is she gonna do?
I, 41 male, met my wife online about 10 years ago. We hit it off immediately with lots of chemistry, and we had a string of coincidental overlaps in our lives. Things moved along quickly. By the way, this comes from Castmaster, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I moved out of my place into hers about half a year later, and then she moved into mine a year after that. 3 years into the relationship, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. That was 7 years ago. We bought a house, moved to the suburbs, and tried to start a family but had no luck. We chalked it up to age, but have continued to try for about 3 years now. Our relationship had some bumps. Her dad is super handy, and I am not. And she felt I neglected my duties around the house with cleaning and fixing things up. She was mostly right. I am not proactive about chores, and she has been vocal about me needing to pull my weight and be more romantic. I am very cerebral and analytic, and mostly lacking in the pathos department. Our spicy sleep life started to atrophy about the time we started trying to conceive. An act of joy and love suddenly became more of an obligation in my mind, and we both got maybe a little too comfortable in the relationship. We started to gain weight, fart in front of each other. No! And all the normal things you learn to live with in a long-term relationship.
Have you not farted in front of your boyfriend yet?
Me?
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
I always try not to, but I'm trying to get her to tolerate it. You're gonna have to.
That's a personal question, Keon.
Is it really?
I can't tell you this information.
I'm very open about it. I have farted.
Dude, this guy farts.
He
I
farts,
fart.
man. He's a farter.
I fart.
But I was still very attracted to her, and she said she was to me as well. However, she was looking for flowers, candles, and loving whispers, and I wasn't offering her those things. So we were both aware of the problems we were facing even before this most recent bump. Last night, she told me that on a recent trip, she met a woman.
I say that the best couple's way to fart in front of each other is you play Guess My Fart,
Yeah.
and you got and one person guesses how it's gonna sound. So you go like,
You've never done
or
that?
you go like,
I've done that. Carly's guessed it correctly. I've guessed hers correctly. It's hilarious.
Last night, she told me that on a recent trip, she met a woman and they hung out for quite a while. This woman tried to kiss her and she resisted the advance. But she told me that she had strong feelings for this woman and wanted to kiss her and is now questioning her identity and may have always been a sapphic and is only now realizing it. Obviously, that was a lot to process after 10 years together. I do still love her, and I am very grateful that she felt comfortable enough to be honest with me about it. I told her that I was 100% supportive of whatever she's feeling, and that her happiness is my main concern. That is true. I would never want to deny someone being who they feel they are, and I understand that identity is complex and can change even after 10 or more years. I'm not looking to deny her of her true feelings. Shortly after, I asked if she had any contact with this woman since that night, and she said she had. They had texted and talked on the phone. I asked if she would be comfortable with me reading these texts, and she said she had deleted them. Hearing that, I told her that I was not comfortable with her staying in contact with this person. My feeling is that I fully support her identity in whatever form, but that our marriage is an agreement of loyalty and trust, and I felt this breached that bond. If she indeed needs time to work out her identity, then I will be there for her, but I think we should work it out together and not with an interloper involved. Her talking to this other person felt like a betrayal, but I'm curious to see what a counselor would say. We're going to a relationship counselor as soon as she gets back from her most recent work trip. We've been talking constantly, though I feel mostly hurt, and so I do not have much to offer until she figures this out. Thanks for listening. I needed to get this off my chest, and until we meet the counselor, I do not want to involve friends, family, or coworkers. Yes, we work together too. Comment 1 says, you're being very sweet and understanding, but this isn't just a story about your wife discovering who she is. This is a story about a man potentially losing his partner of 10 years. For someone who identified as cerebral and unemotional, you're exhibiting a staggering amount of empathy here. Be careful that it's not at the expense of your own happiness. If your wife was texting another dude, how would you feel? She doesn't get a pass just because it's a woman. Be confident in your own boundaries here. OP says, I think you're missing the point, which is that I am drawing a boundary. Identity can be explored within the context of a relationship. My line gets drawn when a private relationship is forming on the side. Now, I concede that the pathway is rather narrow for this since there's only one woman in our relationship, which is why it's either explore identity with me or completely without me. Reply says, this is a healthy attitude. It's important to keep sight of the fact that identity does not justify cheating. If your wife no longer wants to be with you, OP, the person, then she needs to leave. There cannot be any exploring identity if that means spicy sleep with other people when you're still within a relationship. This is the sort of thing that counseling is great for, to help you and your wife both work out where you stand and where to go from here. Comment 2 says it could be a multitude of things. Maybe she's sapphic, maybe she's bi, maybe neither, maybe any of the above, and the added mystery and excitement to a new relationship, or simply feeling wanted by another made her tempted. It sounds like she might be bored with her relationship with you, and here is this woman who she is building up, who might give her the candles, flowers, and whispering sweet nothings, and put effort into the relationship. And there's a bunch more comments, but do you have any thoughts? Let's take a pause there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you guys don't find a way through counseling, I don't know. I just think it's someone realizing, like, I like women.
Yeah.
And you're not one.
And you're not a woman.
You are not women.
And I think that OP's got the right attitude. It's like either, we explore this together, or you realize that you're not attracted to me and you don't want to be in a relationship with me and you want to explore something else.
Yeah.
In which case we end this relationship. And that's it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you can be as supportive as you can, but
yeah, it still
being
has to be
fully
respectful to
supportive
yourself.
might mean, like, the relationship is over.
Yeah. OP says, I think this is accurate and reinforces what I think may be happening. She's very attractive and a lot of men approach her, but perhaps the masculinity is toxic to her. A woman who understands a woman will have a different approach, and so she may be responding to it when normally she is shut off or defensive. She comes from a strict household too, though, so perhaps this has been buried the entire time and only now manifesting. That's where the therapy comes in, I think. Update. Let's get into it. The day she left for her work trip, I felt the first waves of paranoia and jealousy. When we talked that night, I asked her to make sure she understood how important it was for the sake of our marriage and my well-being to not break her promise to not communicate with this other person. I asked for us to get through counseling before she resumed contact. She said she knew and that she would not. I really think she's going to do it anyway.
Really feels like she's going to do it
Feeling
anyway.
she's gonna do it anyway. 2 days later, she returned and was home when I got back from work. After we ate dinner, we started to discuss our future. Soon into that conversation, several truths were revealed. The contact between them had been nearly constant since the Vegas encounter.
Yikes.
There was more than a feeling. There was making out and kissing.
Double yikes.
The contact was still happening. The last truth was the thing that will now lead to our divorce. The infidelity is bad, maybe unforgivable in and of itself, but the violation of trust and the manner in which my wife of 7 years has disregarded my feelings is the most painful part. She's been saying I didn't have a choice, and in terms of her spicy proclivity, that may be true. But the choice to act on those feelings was hers. She was not interested in an open relationship or a threesome. I asked more out of curiosity than anything. I also did not want those arrangements. In learning more information about the relationship, I found out that there is a large age difference. The woman is 28. There is already talk about living together, having kids, IVF, and even whether I would donate for the F.
What's the joke
For the
about
IVF.
lesbians going fast?
Yeah, wow.
Yo.
Hey. To even bring up that you, I don't know, like asking you to donate for IVF is insane. Like they're cheating on you.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
The thing I was not prepared for was when 15 minutes later, she was on her phone, booking a one-way flight out of town to go see the person the next day. I am still in a bit of shock over how cold and insensitive that was. But I'm in a bit of shock about how easy it is to listen to full episodes of stories just like this if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Don't give her your baby juice, and I'll
Don't.
see you at the gym.
Yeah, we're divorcing. You want to be with this woman. I gave you my boundaries. You just knocked over all of them. And there it is. And that's that. And it sucks. The next morning, she left to be with this woman. It's been several days since she's been gone. We've talked, though, mostly about what is happening with regards to our marriage and general plans about selling our house. For a few days, she refused to seek counseling, but last night she promised to move forward with it. It's hard to trust that it will happen when so many promises have been broken lately. My wife is a sapphic. I'm fine with that. It hurts to lose her and to be abandoned by the person you thought you would spend the rest of your life with. On the other hand, I care for her deeply, and I want her to live the life she thinks she wants and deserves. I am a straight man, and I cannot be married to a sapphic, so I see no hope for our relationship to succeed. Except as friends. The problem is I only want friends that are loyal, and that is a bar. And true, don't be friends with someone that cheated on you. You don't owe it to them.
Yeah, I don't know if staying friends is the right move here.
Not when she cheated on
You
you.
know?
No, thank you. But folks, that's the end of that story.
My brother got his mistress pregnant, so I cut them all off.
Yeah, get him out of your life.
Trigger warning, childhood abuse. So, okay, some background. My brother, 35 male, is the favorite child. My mother, 55 female, always took more photos of him, always went to his games, plays, events, etc., but never any others. If he got in trouble for anything, for example, fighting at school and getting suspended, his punishment never lasted more than an hour. Meanwhile, I, 31 female, would be screamed at and cussed at if I even much as breathed the wrong way. By the way, this comes from Physical Ad 23, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So he's been married to his wife, 35 female, for 18 years. I love my sister-in-law more than anything. She's sweet, funny, kind, always the first to help when you're in need. Her biggest downside has always been that she isn't very money smart, but my brother is and thought they worked well together when it came to balancing each other. They bought a house, got a dog, and we're trying to have a baby, all while still saving a significant amount. My brother says they started fighting a lot because he wanted to save money and do IVF, but my sister-in-law really wanted a baby without all that. Admittedly, while they never struggled to get pregnant, their babies were never healthy enough to survive after birth, and her last 3 pregnancies ended in infant loss. Well, he got her pregnant again anyways, and the baby is perfectly healthy. The day she told my brother she is pregnant, he asked for a divorce and confessed he cheated with a coworker, 23 female.
Oh, what a brutal start.
What?
What a brutal start. Oh.
Goodness gracious. The biggest reason why I'm so angry about this isn't because of how much love I have for my sister-in-law, but more so because my brother claims that he didn't know he even wanted a divorce until he cheated on his wife and realized he didn't feel guilty about it. But he also has confessed to our mother that he actively pursued a relationship with this coworker. His coworker is also very aware that he's married and even met his wife.
Oh.
In fact, she regularly shops at the store my sister-in-law works at and had made it a point to approach her at work prior to my sister-in-law finding out about the affair. Now, on to what caused me to cut off my family. I went to visit my sister-in-law for the first time in a while. She's giving me a coffee table as her and my brother are selling their house. They're not divorcing. My brother will not file, but I decided I would also visit with her just to see how she was doing, check on her pregnancy, and just all around make sure that she's okay. Towards the end of my visit, my brother and my mom both started calling me excessively, texting me that I had to call them back right away and that I hadn't even left her house yet. Once I got in the car and started driving away, my brother and mother started calling again, several times, back to back, and we finally answered. And that's when they started getting angry at me. Apparently, my sister-in-law told my brother she didn't want to go shopping after their 20-week appointment the next day. My brother thought it was my fault. My sister-in-law does not know that my brother's mistress is pregnant and they're only 4 weeks apart. He assumed I told her, and when I responded that I had not told her anything, he called me a liar and screamed and cursed at me. I ended up yelling back and told him to go F himself. My mom called me immediately after and demanded to know what I told sister-in-law. And when I told her the same thing I told my brother, she too called me a liar and yelled at me.
Oh my goodness.
The wife doesn't know, right?
Wait.
I think she knows about the cheating.
Yeah.
Not about the pregnancy.
Yeah, I think that's what that was saying.
And they're still together?
Well, I'm confused because he was the one who was like, I want a divorce. And then
He's not filing.
now he's not filing for it. Maybe he's realizing like, oh, I can't be with a 23-year-old. I don't know.
Wait. Actually, I like the part where I'm cheating on you.
He's
That's what I like.
I've thought about it, and honestly, it wouldn't be as fun to cheat on you and not feel bad about it if I weren't in a relationship with you. Because then I would have to cheat on that girl, and it just doesn't make sense.
It's just I just can't keep doing the cycle.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stay with this.
Terrible person.
I ended up blocking them both. My mother also got angry that she couldn't get a hold of me. She demanded I get my own insurance on my car. She bought it for me and is the only person on the title. It is still being financed by this dealership. I pay the car payment directly and send her money for the insurance. And I add her back to Live 360 so she knew where her car was at all times. She told me that my boyfriend, 30 male, is not allowed to drive it. He doesn't unless I'm with him in the car. She texted my boyfriend of all that since she couldn't get a hold of me. I ended up taking the car to her house and dropped it off with keys I told her to do with it what she wants, since she wanted to know where it was at all times. She ended up texting my boyfriend that we are both pieces of crap and never to contact her again.
That's pretty easy.
This was after I unblocked her long enough to text her that I would still make the payments, but since she wanted to know where the car was, she could have it. I made a promise to pay it and intended to keep that promise, but now I don't think I should. This whole time, my mother has been hosting my brother's mistress at her house after my brother moved in with her, and she keeps protecting him as much as she can. Dude, this mom and brother
She's
are ride or
terrible.
This,
oh my goodness. Like, this is like, this mother-son relationship is too deeply entrenched. Like, disgusting. Disgusting. Like, how can you think it's okay to raise your children, specifically your son, to act like this?
dude, I'm
And then
appalled. Yeah.
you suck.
Wow. Oh, gets even better. She even gaslights my sister-in-law to make her think the divorce and affair was her fault. Cherry on top. And she tries to blame me for my brother and sister-in-law fighting. I'm so tempted to go nuclear. With everything going on, I could get my brother, mother, and the mistress fired from their jobs, and could even get my parents evicted from their home since they live in a 55-plus community, and my brother is not on the lease. His staying there goes against their lease agreement, and they could be evicted if the landlords or property management company finds out. I won't get them evicted or my mom fired, but I wonder if my brother and his mistress should suffer consequences, especially since my brother is the mistress direct supervisor.
Ooh, yikes. Big old yikes.
Honestly, a little ultimatum could go a
Yeah.
long way. Collect some evidence, get nice little folders put together.
Blackmail him.
Yeah, blackmail him. Be like, if you do not,
Treat your
'cause
wife.
she thinks very highly of the
Yeah.
sister-in-law. If you do not take care of her and do these things,
and sign those divorce papers.
yep, and give her the house, I will do X, Y, Z, and ruin you.
This is new. This is
I'm
new.
down for loot.
Yeah.
I know we shouldn't be,
Yeah.
but brother, having no guilt.
I'm not against. I just think it should be in the hands of the wife. That's my position.
All the things his wife has gone through.
I know,
too.
it sucks. And she's pregnant. After
Give-
like all of these, losses, she's
Wait.
finally pregnant.
Build, give the wife the
Exactly.
boom.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay.
Solved.
Okay. I wonder if I am the a-hole for cutting everyone out except my sister-in-law off. After all this, I try to stay neutral for as long as I could because my sister-in-law didn't want to cause fighting, but I can't bring myself to stay quiet anymore. My mother and brother think I'm pretty much evil at this point because I won't protect my brother anymore. I also wonder if I would be the a-hole if I told my sister-in-law about the mistress being pregnant and regularly staying with my brother at his mom's house. I know she would be angry enough to get a lawyer involved, and I would 100% support her. So Reddit, what do you think? Am I the a-hole? Should I tell my sister-in-law? Should I go? Edit, I just realized from a comment that they were married for 18 years, but they have been together for 18 years, and they started dating at 16 and 17 in high school. I'm sorry for not seeing that. Update. I will be meeting with my sister-in-law tomorrow to tell her everything. I really feel like this should be in person. I would hate this kind of news delivered over a call or text, and I want her to know I will support her whatever decision she makes 100%. I also have decided I will not be paying my mother another cent and cutting the cord cold turkey on the car. Thank you so much to those who gave great advice. I will make sure my sister-in-law is okay and safe before I do anything more. I will update you after my meetup. And we got the meetup.
Let's freaking get into this update.
Update. I really don't know how to update these things. Anyways, long story short, I did not tell my sister.
What? Girl.
When my boyfriend and I got to her house, she wasn't there. We thought she was just at the market, so we hung out for a bit. But after around 30-ish minutes, my oldest brother, 38 male, not sister-in-law's husband, drove up in sister-in-law's car. Then my older brother drove up behind him in his truck with sister-in-law in the truck. He was bringing her from the hospital. When I spoke to her today, she told me what happened. While out walking her dog Friday evening, another dog came up and started attacking her dog. She has a 3-year-old husky. While trying to break up the dogs to get away, she hurt her stomach.
No.
Oh no, she was worried about the baby and went to the hospital the next day since she was in a lot of pain. Good thing is she only pulled a muscle and the baby is healthy.
Oh my goodness. That was so scary.
Oh man.
I was like, oh no.
So when my boyfriend and I got there, she had been given some meds and was loopy and tired. So we dropped off the pasta I made for her and let her rest. Also, neither of my brothers wanted to talk to me or my boyfriend and would barely look at us. So I know my mom has my older brother turned against me. He's cut me off as well, so I don't get to see my niece anymore. But that's all for now. I'm going to try to see her again when she feels a bit better. I'm really worried about stressing her out too much when she's already not feeling well. I'll update again if anything's happened. Oh.
Dang, man. Well, this is actually a good point because, you know, a lot of stress isn't good for the baby as well.
Yeah, true.
And we already know that she has like a medical history that's not, you know, great. So I do understand why OP's like, I don't want to tell her right now when she just had this like
traumatic thing happen.
Yeah, close call. But I don't know. Now I'm like, I don't know. I guess maybe talk to a doctor and be like, hey, I have this information that I need to share with her, but it's very stressful. Do you think that's okay for her to hear or should I wait? Yeah. Because she needs to know, but also you don't want to do anything that puts the baby in harm's way.
Update 2. Oh boy. I know you guys have been bugging for an update and it's been absolutely insane. I'm at a loss to what to do now. So long story short, my sister-in-law found out before I told her. I knew my brother was out on dates with his mistress out in the open, but I didn't realize where exactly. This moron was out with his mistress in the same town my sister-in-law's sister lives, with her husband and kids. They saw this moron out with her and told my sister-in-law. Of course, I didn't know about any of this when it happened. I found out when I went over to visit her last week. Simply went like this. Me, I'm going to be blunt. I need you to not freak out until I'm done. You can scream and cry and all that, and I will be here. But listen, we got to get your ducks in a row before you retaliate. Mistress is pregnant. From what I know, you guys are like 4 weeks apart. Sister-in-law says, I know. My sister told me.
Oh.
Guys, this woman went to my mother's house and saw the mistress car there and knew everything from that point forward. I wondered why she was so quiet for a couple of days after her hospital visit, and it was because she got into a fight with my family and told them none of them would ever see her baby, and they were uninvited to the baby shower, no more doctor's appointments with my brother, etc. She was an absolute boss, and of course my brother blamed me. Even after my sister-in-law told him it was her own family that saw them out and noticed the pregnant mistress. I got pestered by my mother over email. I didn't bother responding except to tell her that if she contacted me again, she would be hearing from a lawyer. My sister-in-law is going full scorched earth, and I love it. I'm helping her find a good lawyer while researching laws in our state regarding custody and separation of assets and stuff. It's a lot to read and sometimes hard to understand, but it's been enlightening to say the least. We also reported my brother's conduct and my mother's pesterment to their respective HR departments. So far, it doesn't look like anything has been done. I couldn't get in contact with my mother's landlord either since they used a property management company, so I sent the property managers an email. I haven't heard back from that so far. You ever hear about OK Storytime being on your favorite podcast platform?
Like what?
Like Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify. All you gotta do is look up OK Storytime for more insane
No
stories.
way.
Just like this, and you can hear them all.
Oh,
Wherever,
man.
whenever.
Stories like this?
Yeah.
Ooh.
They're your favorite, Sophia.
Oh,
Come
that was
on.
rough.
You like a good cheating story.
I love a good cheat. You know me. I'm always saying that. Wow. I mean, she knows.
She already had the ready to go.
Yeah, she was like, don't worry. I had my finger on the button this whole time. I just needed a second finger on the other button because I think that's how it works.
Dude, you know what Carly's line in Lilo and Stitch is?
What?
Fingers always on the button, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's OP's sister-in-law.
That's her
Well,
sister-in-law. She's
Yours,
Carly.
yeah, exactly. Your sister-in-law seemingly wants you still in her life, so nice. You get access to your niece. No one else does. It super sucks that she's going through this and that, you know, you have to deal with your family, but it seems like your family's always sucked, so.
Yikes. Unfortunately for me, though, my job was put in danger. I've been on a lot of stress. I've been on stress leave because of this whole fiasco.
Ugh.
And I got a call from my admin HR. According to them, my mother had issued a complaint about me. I had to go forward with the emails and screenshots of the text I was getting to keep my job. So I will also be going to see a lawyer next week to send my family cease and desist notice. And as much as I love my sister-in-law, I know that as long as I stay close to her, my family will continue to come after me. So my boyfriend and I have decided to leave the state. I will continue to have contact with her, and she has already promised to fly out and visit us regularly, but she will keep at arm's length for the most part. I feel like I'm abandoning her, but my mental health is taking a huge toll from all the drama. So far, the plan is to take a road trip to our state of choice this September if we can afford it, and do some preemptive apartment shopping with our dog. Then hopefully we will be moving there next year in the summer. We're going to sell all of our stuff and take only what we can fit in our car. We're also eloping this summer, so that takes away all the stress, and I'm not wedding planning anymore. Sister-in-law will be our only witness. But guys, that's the end of that story.
My husband and his mother are making me so crazy that I almost cheated.
That's a pretty bad excuse.
Hello. First, I would like to say that I come from an economically developed country in Asia, but the society here is still very patriarchal in its view of family and the women's roles within it and piety. The way I was raised influences the way I think and look at situations. It may be hard for others to understand, but that's just the way things are. By the way, this comes from G1TA. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, background. I will try to be brief with this. It is to provide context on the issues that exist that I describe later on. I met my husband, Sean, at university when I was 20 doing undergraduate while he was 28 and completing his doctorate. My major was English education, and I had planned to spend my last year of university abroad in either the US or UK. However, Sean told me he loved me, asked me to stay with him, and I did because I loved him too. I graduated and found work as a teacher's assistant at an elementary school. Sean finished his doctorate a few years later and began working as an assistant professor at our alma mater. We got married in 2010. My very wealthy in-laws bought us a gorgeous house as a wedding gift and paid for our honeymoon, during which I got pregnant. My husband and in-laws requested me to retire from work at least until our child started school. I agreed because 1, I wanted to spend as much time with the baby as possible, and 2, I was grateful to my in-laws for everything they'd done and wanted to follow their wishes. 3, it is commonplace in my country, and my mother had done the same for me. And 4, my in-laws offered to supply a monthly allowance to support our family. In 2011, my daughter was born. It was the happiest day of my life, and she grew into the most beautiful, sweet little girl. My husband worked around 50 to 60 hours per week, and it was tough, but I loved being with my daughter, and my in-laws and parents helped me a lot. In this time, my husband and I had some disagreements about his contributions to raising our daughter. The current issue. In 2014, my father-in-law passed away unexpectedly. The whole family took the death very harshly. My mother-in-law was very adamant about not living alone, and because my husband is the eldest son in the family, his mother became his responsibility. And so she moved in with us. Not long after, we enrolled my daughter in a preschool in the neighborhood. I was originally going to start job hunting around this time. However, because of my mother-in-law, I decided to delay going back to work so that she wouldn't be alone during the day, which is very nice. She was very curt and highly critical of me, but I endured it because I was grateful to her and my father-in-law and out of love for my husband. I was very kind and accommodating despite her behavior to me, as I thought she would get better as she grieved. But instead, she got progressively more controlling, manipulative, and generally malicious. Obvious disdain towards me started when I expressed that I wanted to return to work. She accused me of being ungrateful, trying to escape her, and not caring that she is left alone all day, asking me if I expected her to do all the housework while my husband and I are both working. I decided to just commit to a stay-at-home mom. I decided to just commit to be a stay-at-home mom, as I thought that submitting to my mother-in-law would solve the problem, and it hasn't. For the past almost 5 years, my self-esteem has been chipped away at, and I feel like I'm at the end of the rope now. There are just too many things to write in this format, so I will just list some main points below. I gained around 33 pounds, 15 kilograms, after giving birth, and my mother-in-law constantly made comments about my weight and tried to restrict me from eating certain foods like rice and meats. I joined a city jogging club to get exercise, and because I myself wanted to lose a bit of baby weight, I lost 10 kilograms of the weight, but I haven't been able to keep off the last 5 kilograms, 11 pounds, but I am pretty tall, 5'7", and I like how the extra curves look on me. But my husband and mother-in-law still tell me that I'm overweight, even though medically I am far from an unhealthy body mass index.
I'm sorry, your husband is saying that too? Bye. Bye.
after
You had
a
a baby.
baby.
You literally had a
A
baby. You had a
baby.
child. You had a child and your body changed.
After did an amazing thing.
Like, that's how bodies work.
Yeah, you never comment on that. He should never. Even if you didn't have a baby.
Yeah.
Mother-in-law is constantly making pointed comments about me, from my cooking to the way I do laundry, my weight, what I wear. For example, she accused me of trying to attract other men because I wear spandex leggings to jogging meets. She thinks it's inappropriate to wear a chiffon blouse only to the store, even though she can't go outside without being wrapped in designer brands. Or when I curl my hair before going out, she'll say, "Which man are you meeting today?" She often wonders out loud why I'm not good at anything of use. I heard my mother-in-law talking on the phone with someone about how I still have the trophy I received from winning a campus beauty contest when I was in university. She told the person, me, is just lucky that her school only had 4,000 students. She wouldn't even touch the top 10 at Y University, which has over 30,000 students. The professors in my husband's department have dinner parties, and he and his mother always tell me to diet before I go so that I don't embarrass him by being the thickest woman there. At the dinners, my husband becomes annoyed if I express my opinions or try to engage in academic conversations. Even when the other men ask for my opinion, he always pats my leg, which is his signal for me to stop talking.
I am not in a place where I experience probably what you're experiencing culturally.
Yeah.
So I can never understand exactly what you're going through and how hard it is to break from that. But my advice to you is to leave your husband.
Yeah. If you can.
If you can, you're not happy taking care of his mother. You seem pretty young still. Like you're at most maybe, mid-20s, I would say, probably.
And he's probably like
Mid-30s now. Like you have so much, life. You could do whatever you want. You do not have to not pursue your dreams because he doesn't want you to.
I feel like a big issue could be if they are in a country where it's like women's rights like that,
Yeah.
her getting the kid at all.
That's a good point.
Any custody ability. I hope you have a son,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my husband always complains about his stresses to me, but is always too tired to listen to my feelings or worries. He blames me for the friction between my mother-in-law and me and thinks the problems will just disappear if I ignore them for a long enough while. There is no spicy-related intimacy in the marriage. When I try to initiate, my husband usually says he is too tired or has no time, or initiated something that required no effort on his part and was not stimulating to me at all. When he was in the mood, it was fast with little foreplay, and he only satisfied himself. As a result, I have stopped trying to be intimate with him and rebuff him when he tries to initiate with me. Though I do receive a lot of attention from males, I do not feel good about it because my own husband does not act interested in me 95% of the time. I have wondered whether he is cheating or if I don't look attractive to him because he is around young girls all the time. This has really hurt my self-image because my husband used to say I was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, and now he only looks at me when he is in the mood for quick, spicy sleep.
I can't imagine that you're anywhere, like, at the very most, you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
In which case, you're still young.
Yeah, because they were already like together at 22.
They were together at 22 because
they met at 20.
They met at
together
20.
22.
And then had the kid.
Yeah. So another year.
Kid seems like still pretty young because she's a stay-at-home mom for the kid.
Well, they put her into preschool, so the kid's like 5, 6.
Okay, so she's probably around 26 to 28.
Yeah. Girl,
still young.
You're so young.
You're so young.
My daughter is starting to lose respect towards me because of the way my husband and mother-in-law treat me. She has started copying my mother-in-law's habit of clicking her tongue at me. She doesn't listen to me. I have to ask her around 3 times to do something before she does it. When she is upset at me, she copies things that she has heard her grandmother say. I feel like I am losing her. It was my daughter's birthday last week, and my mother-in-law agreed that I would make dinner for my daughter while she would buy a dessert. But when I arrived home after errands, my mother-in-law was in the process of preparing a multi-course meal. She told me she had changed her mind and forgotten to call me, so I had to run out and get a cake even though it was quite late. After dinner, I had to wash all of the dishes and clean all of the vegetable and meat scraps out of the sink while my daughter, mother-in-law, and husband took a walk together without saying anything to me. A few days later, I almost cheated on my husband, a man from the running club, Justin, who I had become acquainted with, told me that he thought my hip flexor muscles were tight. He is a personal trainer. And after the morning running finished, showed me some stretches to do. He said he had overheard me telling another woman in the club that I was craving Italian food, and he asked me to go to his favorite Italian restaurant with him later that day. Honestly, I should have noticed his intentions with me from the stretching excuse, but Justin is a tall, swarthy, and well-built man that all the women like, and I was admittedly flattered by his attention, so I accepted. We met for lunch. He was very charming, and I flirted with him. He complimented me a lot and did more asking than telling. After lunch, he invited me to go for a drive in his car, and I accepted at first, but excused myself when I realized what I was doing. I know what would have happened if I'd gotten in. I didn't think about my husband at all, just my daughter. I confessed to my husband immediately. Oh, I mean, how do you feel about that?
The
Because
thing is,
nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, okay. If this were a good relationship,
Yes.
I'd be like,
Yes.
yes, absolutely, so good. And like, I still am not advocating that OP cheat at all. Like, OP needs to leave her
Yeah.
relationship.
You still need to leave before anything happens.
But I feel like I less so am going to say like, oh, she shouldn't have done that. I think she should have done it, but I think she is trying to save the relationship or save a relationship that is already gone.
Yeah.
So I feel like the solution is not tell him and try and fix it. It's leave it because
almost
it's not working.
more like I had this feeling, and because of that,
Yes.
we're not working.
Exactly.
Part of me felt bad, and part of me felt like this was the way out. To my surprise, he broke down with tears and apologized. He said he was wrong and begged me to stay with him. He said he wouldn't tell his mother and asked me to go to marriage counseling with him. He said he would change, but I don't believe him. I know he does not respect me or love me. And from my meeting with Justin, I know that I don't respect or love him either. Good. I am not interested in being with him, but the one reason that I consider reconciliation is for my daughter. And by the way, you can reconciliate with us. You can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We do have another update, but what are your thoughts?
I think that you would be doing your daughter more of a favor if you left, because you're already seeing her adopting these negative views on motherhood from her mom or from her grandma and her dad. They don't respect you, and she's noticing and she's picking up on that.
Yeah, I do wonder if the divorce would change any of that.
Yeah.
If leaving him would actually be a fix. Like I'm almost just kind of like that might just unfortunately be a really
It totally
situation.
could. It totally could. But I feel like right now,
Yeah. It's
she's
still a better
only seeing her
chance.
mother being like told what to do.
Yes.
And
She will see you out with
Yeah.
someone who loves you and cares
Yeah.
for you and is
you don't want to teach her that this is okay.
Yeah. Give her good standards.
Yes, please.
Okay, we're going to find out a bit more about their country's laws,
Yeah.
which will be good. In our country, divorce is somewhat uncommon, and kids from divided households are often subject to bullying in school. I also love my daughter more than anything, and I am terrified that she will hate me if I leave my husband. At the same time, I cannot tolerate my mother-in-law any longer. Even if I go to marriage counseling, I am 100% sure that he would not agree to punt her out. I am past the point of being thankful for the house and the money. She's made my life terrible. I am so confused and conflicted about what to do, and I'm sorry that this post is much longer than I had planned, but I would really like advice that comes from outside the view of my own culture. Thank you if anyone reads this. And that's the end.
Yeah. My advice from outside the culture is divorce.
Divorce.
I truly think in the long run, your daughter will benefit from the divorce.
Yeah.
More so than she will from, maybe not getting bullied, but still seeing her mother get bullied. My girlfriend cheated on me, but she won't let me go.
That isn't how that works.
I've been with ex-girlfriend Vanessa for the past 5 years. We met at a convention for one of our hobbies and started just talking about the hobby itself with no other goal in mind. We started dating when she confessed that she liked me as more than a friend, and it was mutual. I just kept quiet because I didn't really want to ruin the friendship, and I wasn't really expecting her to be interested in me. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Wanted Over, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we dated for about 2 years steadily before we moved in together. Our families meshed well together, our friends mingled, and we all became one big mixed social circle. That was a surprise because we both come from very different financial backgrounds, me being raised in poor/middle class kind of finances, Vanessa and her friends and family being really, really rich. Whoa, you're mingling with the classes? Crazy.
Ooh, scandal.
Everything was great for the past 3 years.
Except when she cheated.
That's a big asterisk to put on that.
Vanessa cheated on me with some random guy. I don't even honestly know why, nor do I really care to find out.
And that's the way to do it.
Yep. I found out a month ago because I took her phone to call up a friend since mine was inoperable at the time. The first thing I saw when I unlocked her phone was a message popping up about how some guy loved that butt bouncing on him the day before. Ew.
That's kind of
Gross.
icky.
Yuck. I'll spare you the emotional turmoil I briefly went through. And I'll admit, I just put the phone down. Told her I was leaving without telling her why, and I could see she was confused about me just going out like that. I just didn't want to do something I'd regret because I did have anger issues in the past, but have mostly worked past those. She probably found out I saw that message, but since my phone was still in the apartment, there was no way to get in touch with me. I literally just walked around the city for hours until I was so tired that I felt like falling asleep on my feet. We read another story where a guy was just walking around for, he said 50 miles. I don't buy it.
A 50-mile. That guy was walking so fast.
He was walking way
He's
too
walking
fast.
like those Olympic
He
speed
was
walkers.
Went over to a friend's place, stayed with them over the night and the day after I got over to our apartment and talked it out with Vanessa. I told her I wasn't going to be in a relationship with a cheater. And that was that. I didn't ask for details, how it happened, who exactly the other guy was. I just wanted to go away from it all. See, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah.
See ya.
I'm breaking up because you decided to cheat. I don't care what you think about me or what you think about this guy. I don't really care about any of that. You cheated on me.
She wasn't looking to oblige me, crying hysterically, blaming herself, hitting herself in the head because she was, I quote, a stupid, cheating cunt, begging me to not go, that she would do anything to try and fix this. The whole thing she made even more uncomfortable to be around her. And there was a scene in front of our apartment when our neighbors came out to see what the noise was about. Yikes.
Yeah, you should just tell her. The thing you could have done to prevent this was just not
doing it, yeah.
Now you can't do anything about
Too
it.
late. I did manage to get away, but it was unnecessarily complicated with drama. She made her choice to F someone else. I made mine to break up because I don't want to be a cheater. I managed to take away most of my things from the apartment when she wasn't there and hope that would be that. But if it was, I wouldn't be here now. I mentioned before that Vanessa and her family are rich. She's now using her, and I presume her family's money, in not giving me a single day of some kind of reminder of her. Either I'm getting gifts sent my way at my workplace, or I'm getting letters in the mail and packages, or she just hangs out with one of her friends somewhere where she knows I am. I have no idea how she knows, and this is making me feel paranoid because I keep thinking she might have someone following me. Well, now she's stalking you, trying to get me to talk with her. I have tried talking with local police on the matter, but I've been told, in not so many words, that her family would make sure nothing would be done about it.
All right, here's what you do.
Oh, no, not the rich family.
Here's what you do. You get aggressively weird. All right, we don't get aggressively angry when we see her following us around inconspicuously, or she just so happens to be. You run up to her table like a goblin, like, and then you go until she just leaves.
Yeah.
And then maybe she'll be like, I don't think I like my ex-boyfriend anymore.
Yeah, I don't actually think I want to be with him. That would be concerning.
You gotta out weird out-weird the weird behavior.
Props to the cop for being honest about it, but they could do their job instead.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
are they
apparently,
getting freaking bribed? What's up with
when
that?
it comes to stalking, a cop's job is just to wait until you're in a ditch, and then they'll do something. That's
Yeah, they're
apparently
like,
what
well, I wish we could have prevented this.
it is. Yeah. If only there was something we could have done.
Blast. I want to heal. I want to move on, but she's not letting me. And I don't have enough money to just move away somewhere else. She's already blocked or ignored on every possible media I have. But strangely enough, she's not trying to get to me through them anyway. On the other hand, friends are. Every friend she's got, and she has plenty, has asked me to just meet up with her, hear her out, or something else like that.
You should do this.
Is she paying them all?
Do this, though, but do it like how Robert Pattinson did it. Robert Pattinson had a stalker. He went to dinner with his stalker. His stalker then stopped
did know about
caring
that.
about
Yeah.
him because he went to dinner and the stalker's like asking him questions. He's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like leaving my house. Like, I don't usually
Yeah,
like
he
talking to
out-weirded
people.
them.
I'm like, I like kind of hate most of the things I do and think, and I don't really have any interests. And she was like, oh, you're awful.
That's how you do it, I guess.
And the thing is, in his interviews, he'll be like, yeah, I was just like genuinely just having a conversation. I just decided, I was like, you know what? I will entertain this person. I'm kind of bored, I guess. And then she was like,
crazy.
actually, I don't think I want to
You
see you
suck.
again.
Oh, man. But I'm so tired of that. I'm tired of this kind of crap. I just want it over with. I don't want to hear her speak. I don't want to see her. It won't do me any good. So please, can anyone help me here? How do I move on from someone who won't let me and who has absolutely both the time and money to keep doing it indefinitely? And there is an update. I'm not going to lie. I feel like you're right.
You have to shatter the illusion.
I feel like you're right.
You go to her and you say, all right, we can make this work, but I have a confession. This entire time
I've been a furry.
I've been a fraud. I've been afraid to tell you.
Oh, I
What
said
I-
furry.
A furry? Oh, I thought you said afraid.
No,
I was
I've
thinking
been a
that, but I was
furry.
actually going a step further and I'm going, I'm a diaper boy. I need to be in a diaper at all times.
Yeah, there's a community that exists.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It's
horrific.
Yeah.
But yeah, hit her with that. Hit her with that the most earnest way that you possibly can. I need to be in a diaper at all times and I cannot change myself because
Yeah. And if you're ready for that, we can get back together.
have you ever met a baby that can change its own diaper? Hello.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
that my cards are now on the table, babe.
Because, like, genuinely, you don't have enough money to move. You've tried the police. They aren't working. You've tried to block everyone. They keep finding ways to access to you. She has a lot of money and time.
You could
I'm
also
not even
try
gonna lie.
shame. You could try like a get ready with me where you just shame your ex-girlfriend.
You do the Amy thing.
Because they're like rich and like probably like well known in the community. So it's like if you start shaming her, maybe she'll just leave you alone because she doesn't want the bad press.
That's another good one. Update. In the end, I set up a meeting with my ex's mother, whom I mentioned in one of my posts when I was replying to people about this whole thing. It was roughly a week after I made my previous post. She knew why we were broken up and completely backed up my decision to break up with her daughter, seeing how much it hurt me. It meant a lot to me, and I guess I never really appreciated her mom being so friendly with me while we were together. I explained to her what had been going on since the breakup. She only knew that the ex was trying to get back together with me, but she didn't know about her showing up at any place I went out, her friends badgering me, or the letters and gifts being sent my way constantly. I came close to tearing up because of how much support she showed me at the time. At one point, she even hugged me and kissed the top of my head like I was a little kid again. I felt both embarrassed and grateful. I just wanted space and time to heal from this crap, and I think she understood as much. All in all, after we got that out in the open, she promised me she would get her daughter back in line, to leave me alone and stop pestering me. We talked a bit more after that, but went our own ways soon after. The ex's pesterment continued for a day or two, and then it completely stopped. No messages, no calls, no sudden appearances where I was hanging out or anything. 3 weeks and nothing from her so far.
Okay.
It's been bliss.
Wonderful.
It's like this huge weight just rolled straight off of me. It's easier to breathe, and I'm not even looking at the door of some place I'm hanging out to see if it's the ex or one of her friends. I didn't even notice that myself. My friends were the ones who brought it up to me. So yeah, this is 1,000 times better than what it was like before. And you know what's 1,000 times better? Every time you watch it, full episodes, stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts or advice for OP?
Turns out it was just tell mommy all the
Yeah.
time.
Turns
The whole
out it's
time.
just tell her mommy.
I still
Get in trouble
think
with mommy.
being maybe like aggressively weird and off-putting could have been the most fun way to go about it
Yeah.
for me personally.
Sure.
Maybe OP's not about
You
that
would have loved
life.
that.
I'm about that life.
You are. We know that.
OP is maybe not.
OP's
but
got his own life.
for the general population, I think maybe going to the mom or anyone who has some level of authority over her and being like, dude, like,
What is going on?
did you know your daughter, the girl you raised, is doing this to me? We are cool, right?
We're cool. You can fix this, right?
You have something to say to her, maybe? Yeah, but if that doesn't work, bark like a chihuahua.
Exactly. That's the alternative.
Mm-hmm. And tell her you have to wear.
Tell her you have to wear an adult diaper.
You have to wear a diaper, and you would prefer it to be loaded.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
What?
Loaded diaper. Have you never seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
That was after my time.
No, it wasn't.
Mhm.
Nuh-uh.
It was.
Nuh-uh.
It was.
Nuh-uh.
That was after my time.
Wrong.
Right.
It was our
Wrong.
time.
Thank you.
No, the books
It
were our
literally
time,
was.
not the movies.
Yes.
It was our time.
There is a little bit left to this story. I've talked with my ex's mom one more time over the phone, and I thanked her for whatever she did with her daughter. And she was saying it was the least she could do. Near the end of the conversation, she said it would probably be for the best if we didn't speak anymore. It would let me fully move on from this, but that she was sorry it had to come to this and that they, her and her husband, wouldn't see me coming over for Christmas.
not the chat starting to be like, Dakota, it is your time.
It's your time.
You're wrong.
It's your time.
Dang it, dude. I'm just not up on it, man. Oh, I was exposed.
Sucks to
sorry.
suck.
I hope that didn't echo. I'm sorry.
We said our goodbyes, and that was that. So that's it. The pestiment stopped. I'm feeling great, and life's really looking better nowadays. One more time, thank you all, guys and gals, for trying to help me out from the crap pile I found myself in. And folks, that's the end of that story.
I saw my best friend's boyfriend at a restaurant with another woman.
Expose him.
Involved people, me, 30 female, friend, 38 female, and her boyfriend, 38 male. I've known my best friend for about 3 years now, and she's been so significant in my life ever since I moved to my new city. 6 months into our friendship, we were already so comfortable in our friendship. She has been an absolute rock since I've moved to my newish city. By the way, this comes from Purple Throat 19, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I've only met her boyfriend about 45 times over these last few years. They're in a long distance relationship, and it's been tricky for me to see him when he's been in our city. Last weekend, he came to our city to see her for a week, which he very rarely gets to do, as they're usually just quick weekend visits or the odd long weekend. This week was different, being her birthday and not just being able to see each other since January. I believe he wanted to surprise her and be with her for her birthday this year. Some days she tends to work late. She has always had 2 jobs, so this is a normal thing for her. Today was one of those days. I messaged her to catch up, and she mentioned that she has to work later tonight and her boyfriend is in town. So maybe we could do something next week or whenever the both of them this week. My response was, all good, babe. You enjoy your time with your man. We'll get to catch up next week, knowing how they only get a few moments together these days. I ordered takeout and went to pick up the meal, and I saw her boyfriend. I had to do a double take, maybe thinking she didn't get called into work or something, but lo and behold, it was her boyfriend sitting at the table with another woman. He was so engrossed in their conversation that neither of them saw me gawking at them like an effing idiot. I was gobsmacked that he had the effing audacity to meet up with someone in our city, a place that he rarely visits and only knows a few people in, besides her inner circle and family. So this just made me so mad that he could do something like this. Her. Yes, I thought maybe it could have been a family member of hers or something like that. But over the years, and all the different events I've been invited to, I can't guarantee this was not one of those girls. While I watched them like an effing stalker, I saw they were really comfortable together, literally out of a movie scene type of crap. Holding hands, laughing, flirting, leaning over to each other and whispering crap, the whole shebang. It made me so effing mad. For years, my friend has asked him to move closer to her, to be with her, and his response was always, "Not yet, babe. Just one more project to get me over this line." That kind of BS. And only now I found out this crap has been going on the whole time. I take a few photos in their compromising positions, especially when they lean in and kiss. It still blows my mind that he hasn't noticed me standing there like an effing moron, but I guess he's so engrossed in this bimbo,
Dang.
he actually doesn't give a crap what or who is going on around him. I just got what I needed and got the F out of there. With this type of info now literally in my hands, what do I do? How do I tell my friend that her long-term boyfriend is cheating on her? Such a tricky situation. I've been in this situation with my ex, and I know how it feels. I found out, and it effing sucks. I still haven't recovered, and it's been 3 years. I will be there for her no matter what, and I don't want him to spin this on me and make it my issue only. While she's my friend, I'm also concerned that he'll just talk his way out of it. I don't know him so well or anything. Thought has crossed my mind. How do I gently let my friend know about the situation? You've been cheated on. What would you want? You know,
Yeah.
OP? Like,
Yeah.
I'd think about that and probably answer that.
Yeah, I would probably say, like, don't show up the pictures. Don't show the pictures unless she just straight up doesn't believe you.
I think show the pictures in person. Like, hey,
Yeah, maybe.
girlfriend, can we talk?
I think have this whole conversation in person for sure.
When?
I think as soon as possible. It's like, yeah, I know your boyfriend's coming in soon, but like, I need to see you. I need to see you.
Yeah. Comment 1. All you can do is tell her you need to talk in person and then just show her the pics. You don't need to say anything beforehand. Just straight up say, I need you to look at these pics. And after she's done, tell her you were so sorry, but you had to show her. Show, don't tell. Because there is no easy, gentle way to start the conversation. If you just straight out say it, she will get defensive and maybe refuse to listen. Just show her the pics. No matter what, she will feel like crap. But there is no way to gently rip off the band-aid. Comment 2, hey OP, pretty sure everyone is telling you to share the pic. Reddit doesn't like cheaters. The only thing I can add is, I wouldn't come out and say her boyfriend is cheating. I just say, I saw someone that looked like your boyfriend at wherever. If you flat out accuse him, there's a chance she'll defend him. So show the evidence and let her do what she wants. It's a bit crazy to have 2 long-distance relationships in the same city, but I assume he's from there and moved. Also possible he grabbed someone from an app as well. OP says, I hope not, but we will see. I'll have to show her first thing tomorrow as she gets off fairly late tonight. But thankfully tomorrow is the weekend, so he goes home, so I can do it without him there or around. Update. So a few people have suggested that my friend is the other woman. Bit of history to why they are long distance relationship. From my understanding, they were together for a year and a half before they moved into his home. They lived in his home for, I believe, 4-ish years before she had to move to our city to support her family. He was unable to follow her because of his company. He owns his own business and has not been able to sell up yet. I'm not sure of the situations all around of that. All I know is that she has asked him to come to our city for a while now, so they don't have to do long distance relationship anymore. They have been doing long distance relationship for the last 3 years. I understand she doesn't want kids at all. I am not 100% sure how she feels about marriage. She's always changing about it. I've decided I will speak to her tonight as he has left today. She hasn't mentioned anything to me yesterday at all. I think with them actually gone and her not working the next few days, tonight is the best time to do it. I think I will be showing her the evidence, and if she wants any explanation, I will give her what I know. But I will be telling her, as I believe, as a friend and someone who has been through the same situation, I would rather want to know. I'm not 100% sure how updates work here, but this is how I'm doing it. I hope everyone gets them. We have it.
Oh boy.
Right here. I'm looking at it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. I really wanted OP to like when she was watching this guy, I really wanted her to like, if there was a free table nearby them, I wanted her to be like, hey waiter, I need to sit there.
Can I sit right there?
Can I sit right there?
And then see how long it takes him to realize it.
Yeah. And you just sitting there staring, sipping on your drink, just watching, listening.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Called my friend to have a chat with her on Saturday night. Far out, I was nervous. I had no idea what the reaction would be. I hoped it would be an okay-ish reaction considering the circumstances. But yet, it was tricky. I got all the good type of goodies one needs in a time like this. Ice cream, junk food, drinks, and a lot of tissues.
Good.
At first, she was confused why I brought everything. I asked if we could just have a chat about something. She saw how serious I was, and we talked. It was a long but conversation. We cried, we laughed, and I gave her all the necessary info I could, including this post. She appreciated me coming to her with the info, and she called him right then and there. She didn't cry as she confronted him. I was so proud of her. But that effing a-hole, he gaslit her so much. First by saying, remember, babe, we agreed to an open relationship.
What?
She shut that crap down so quick. Then it was, well, you're away or always doing something, blah, 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 blah. Again, she shut that down real quick. He deflected and blamed her over and over, never actually apologizing or anything. He was a totally different person to what we knew him as. And it'd be totally different of you if you just, watch another story on your favorite freaking podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts, and be that different person and be the change you want to be and listen to us. After all the conversation, we ate junk food and cried together. She isn't doing okay right now. She thought that they would maybe be together for a long time. Things happen. I'm helping her move on from this horrible thing that happened to her. And with time, all will heal. So now, yes, she is single, and thankfully, it's not as bad as a breakup if they were still living together, as everything would have been split. She just had a clean break from here, hoping she will heal and move on from this. But hat. And that's the end of that story, guys.
That is the end.
Wow.
End of the story, end of the relationship, man.
Wow.